right, welcome back to the party, everybody. I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. You know I would do it for you. And let's party. Big shout out to the replay gang. Thank you so much for coming back to watch this, even though you missed the live party, guys. That is the best part. So make sure you are here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. So hit that subscribe, ring the bell, and you will never miss an Indian Jesus live party ever again. If you'd like to support the channel, head on over to theindianjesus.com for your very own official Indian Jesus merch. We do also have a free Discord server, guys. The big thing that we're doing here is building a community. It's not just videos. Make sure you join the free Discord. There is a link in the description. There's a link in the chat. It is absolutely free to join. But if you join as a member of this channel on YouTube, you can scroll right below the video and hit that join button. Not only do you get members only live streams and other stuff here on YouTube, but you get full access to the Discord server, which includes the after party. That's right. As soon as we are done here, we go over to Discord. We don't have to worry about any YouTube censors, and you are not stuck behind your keyboard. You're actually on screen with me and everybody else. It is a good old time. Come and join us. All right. So this one's going to be fun. We don't often get a video like this, a discussion like this. Usually if we're going to see people kind of on the opposite sides of the spectrum or the aisle, it's going to be a little bit more contentious. But Jimmy Dore had on Candace Owens, and as usual, I just skipped through it to make sure we got some meat to talk about. But it seemed rather interesting, and they seem to be, kind of on the same side with a number of interesting things. So let's dive into it. We got King Nirvana in the building. Welcome. As always, guys, if you cannot hear the video, please do let me know.
Welcome to the show for the first time, Candace Owens.
Thanks for having me. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much. I wanted to show you this. Bill Maher, we go after him quite often on this show for his what we call horrible liberal takes.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
And so he had on Andrew Cuomo. And I don't know if this is going to surprise the audience, but they're going to agree with us here at the show that these prosecutions of Trump are politically motivated and stupid. So let's just
now this one's only months, but of course Bill Maher is going to agree with what we've been saying all along once it's socially acceptable to say.
Let me just play it for you, and then you get your reaction.
The Attorney General's case in New York, frankly, should have never been brought. And if his name was not Donald Trump, and if he wasn't running for president, I'm the former AG in New York, I'm telling you that case would have never been brought. And that's what is offensive to people. Yeah. And it should be, because if there's anything left, it's belief in the justice system.
Just heard the one about trying to overthrow the government of the United States. That's the main thing.
I mean, so close. But again, saying the same thing that we've been saying all along. But now that, things are moving along and there's of no consequence for you to actually influence people, now you can say the truth. Shout out to Indie Film. Welcome to the party. We also got Nick Luchetti in the building. Good to see you both. Welcome. King Nirvana said, I came for the prenup. I stay for the good takes. Thank you, sir. And if you guys don't know, I do like to talk a lot. That is why I started a YouTube channel. So if you want to check out this conversation without my commentary, the link is in the description. Please do not comment about how much I talk. I already know. We also got Steven in the building. Welcome to the party.
About trying to overthrow the government of the United States. That's the main thing. To try to overthrow the government of the United States.
But I mean, they're right. If they actually only focused on that, we'd be good.
And we're not gonna hear that.
Okay, so Bill Maher is maybe the dumbest guy still on television, second to Chris Cuomo.
You've gone toe-to-toe with Chris Cuomo, right?
This is unbelievable. Why do you think that they're not charging Donald Trump with trying to overthrow the government? Because he sent a bunch of people without guns to overthrow the government?
And also didn't do that?
And also they didn't do that. But anyway, Candace, what is it? So here's Andrew Cuomo admitting that case should have never been brought. And the only reason it was brought was because it was Donald Trump. He's admitting they're doing political prosecutions. Is that what you hear him saying?
That is what I hear him saying, but it's sort of something that you don't take as legitimate because he was very much a part of the system that was corrupt in New York for a very long time until he was sort of unceremoniously kicked out of the Democrat cool club. That's my viewpoint. And
yeah, let's go SA charges 1-for-1 with Trump and with Cuomo. Let's go 1-for-1 and see who wins that one.
So now it's easy to say it once they've pushed you aside and you kind of see him doing this and his brother's doing this as well. Chris Cuomo kind of doing the tours and being like, I don't think that people should have not used ivermectin. it just seems a little bit too little, too late is how I would respond to it. Regarding Bill Maher, I actually did his show in LA last year. And I am telling you, he can be very funny. He can be warm. When it comes to Trump, there is a rabid anger as if the two of them had like high school beef. Like you can't even understand it. It's like ancestral beef that he has with Donald Trump. Like I don't understand it.
We call it TDS. What are you talking about over here? I don't know what any of that is about, but welcome.
He genuinely has Trump derangement syndrome. He wants him to be prosecuted, as you hear him saying, as if he did something and told people to storm the Capitol building and commit crimes. So I don't understand what his obsessive anger is over Trump. It's nice to hear them say it. I just don't think it means much, if I'm being honest.
Too little, too late. It was just fits nail on the head. Too little, too late. Guys, if you could do me a huge favor and hit that like button real quick, it is so easy and helps out so much. Thank you.
Yeah, he definitely has Trump derangement syndrome. I think that didn't Trump threaten to sue him over a joke?
He did try to sue him. That's why.
So that's what happened.
The orangutan
I get why he has it because he has a grudge against Trump.
Yeah.
I didn't know this. Wait, can you retell the story? Because I don't know.
He had a joke on his show. I used to watch show a lot.
Yeah, me too. At this when this came out, I was in the Never Trump camp, and I was so oh my goodness. Well, let's just let them explain because I don't really remember it that well, but it was hilarious.
Okay, and he had a joke about Trump. Because Trump was doing the Obama birth certificate. Remember, that was our conspiracy about Obama.
Yeah, that was the big conspiracy.
Not that, he's a gay guy. Anyway, he goes,
or that his wife is not a wife.
I want Trump to prove that his dad's not an orangutan. And he showed an orange orangutan. And so Trump sued him for defamation for that joke. And
I remember being like, oh my God, Trump is such a loser. He can't take a little joke and he can ditch it, but he can't take it. Now, I'm not necessarily standing behind that defamation case, but it was funny at the time.
The whole thing, and I was on Bill Maher's side on it. I'm like,
you can't say
his dad's an orangutan, like it's a joke. It's a Bill Maher show. So that's what I think that grudge is from. I don't know if he personally. And back then he had that great Trump joke about his qualification as he once fought Rosie O'Donnell to a standstill. That's a good line. I don't know who wrote that one.
So that was I think that's where Bill Maher gets his chip on the shoulder about.
I'm assuming he lost the lawsuit or he had to pay him something.
Yeah. Do you know what happened to that lawsuit?
No, I stopped caring about it.
Let's see what happened with that lawsuit. This is a ChatGPT moment. What happened with the Bill Maher and Trump lawsuit about Trump having ancestors that were there's no G, orangutan. I don't know how the fuck you spell orangutan. Bill Maher made a joke on the Tonight Show. It wasn't even on his own show. That's hilarious. That means that he retold the same joke on his show, because I can guarantee you I was not watching Jay Leno in 2013. So Bill made a joke on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno in 2013, claiming he would donate $5 million to a charity of Donald Trump's choice if Trump could prove that his father was not an orangutan. There it is. The G's in the middle. This was satire of Trump's previous offer to donate $5 million to charity if President Obama released his college records. Did those records ever come out? Just asking. Trump responded by sending a copy of his birth certificate to Maher and then filed a lawsuit when Maher didn't follow through with the donation. The lawsuit sought to hold Maher to his $5 million promise. However, the case was seen as more of a publicity stunt. Trump eventually dropped the lawsuit. He dropped the lawsuit. What are you mad about, bro? What are you mad about?
He had to pay him something.
Yeah. Do you know what happened to that lawsuit?
No,
I think
stopped hearing about it.
I think it probably got thrown. I don't think there was a settlement.
I didn't think it had merit.
No, I don't think it had merit. I think comedians can make fun of the president.
I agree.
But so you think that Andrew Cuomo is like free to now speak his mind? You don't think he's trying to get back into with the liberal establishment?
Mad about the Me Too.
Of course he is. Of course he is. And I think the fact that Chris Cuomo is still on the outside, I think is a signal that Andrew's not going to be able to get in, but that ain't going to stop him from trying.
Not going to allow him back in. You know, once they Me Too you, that's their way of saying you're done, you've been dismissed. And I think that he partially has a chip on his shoulder about that. And I sense the same thing with Chris Cuomo. They've sort of got a chip on their shoulder because they were, like I said, unceremoniously kicked out of the cool club. And so much of what he's saying now, I think, is just kind of a way for him to feel like he's personally punching back at the same establishment that he was a part of. And then they sort of took him down. And he's not going to go too far because let's not forget, I mean, I lived in New York for 7 years. You know how it works. Once you're a part of those circles, he still wants to get invited to the Montauk parties and the Southampton parties, but he'll give a little bit here and there. And so that's just him giving a little bit of an inch. I wouldn't take it to heart.
I completely agree. I think that was spot on. You know, as much as Candace can kind of go far left, not far left like politically, but off the rails left, as much as she can go left sometimes, when she's on point, she is on point. And
so if he can say that on the Bill Maher show, which is a mainstream fastball down the middle, quote unquote political show, you know, it's an establishment show.
It's got a little Atlantic lately.
And so what that tells me is that everyone actually knows that. Right, that they're not fooling anybody. So why would Alvin Bragg? Why would the people in the Democratic Party think this would be a good idea to push this case?
Yeah,
they wanted to whatever they could do. I mean, I think that the Supreme Court thing just came back on that the whole thing and said that Trump was immune. So I don't know what they were trying, but certainly it did not work. Queen of Honor said her body on point. There you go. Shout out to Amberino. Welcome to the party. So Candace speaks the truth. Her work is incredible. I am a big fan. Welcome to the party.
I'm not sure. I will say, by the way, speaking to your point, I mean, if he was brave and was saying something meaningful, why did he wait until after the prosecutions to say it? Why didn't he say it during while the trial was going on? Say, hey, this is absolute baloney. Well, because he still doesn't want to upset the establishment. So he's doing it post and making it seem like, oh, I've always been a good guy. I've always told the truth. I would not have brought that case. And that's a bunch of crap. But yeah, it is interesting. It's hard to see what their end goal is other than to put nonstop pressure on Trump. And this is something that really is remarkable. If you take a seat back, I think when Trump ran in 2016, he actually thought they were just going to go let him be the president when he won. They have kept the pressure, allegations nonstop, every minute of every single day since he announced that he was running. And so they are just doing what they have always done, constantly trying to criminalize his presence. And I just take it as a signal that he's not in their club. You know what I mean? And that's a big part of the reason why the American public loves Trump so much is because of the way how harshly he's treated by the same system that they view as corrupt.
Yeah. And this is, you know, this goes back to the whole idea of why would Trump go through this? Why would he put himself through all of this stuff if he didn't genuinely care? If only genuinely caring about being a winner, I don't care, because that works out better for me than Biden being a winner. Shout out to Drake Thomas over on Kick. Welcome. I'm good, but thank you. Who do we got here? We got Sam. Welcome. So people give Dore a break because he got some things right about COVID. But back when he was with the Young Turks, he was cited as one of the inspirations for the Dallas BLM cop killings. F him. So, I mean, he's definitely still on the left. He's definitely still a progressive. Just because he left a particular entity doesn't mean like he's on, he's now, like on the right. And that's why I think this conversation is so interesting, because as much as Candace and Jimmy are in very different spots, I think they have a productive conversation and it doesn't turn into my side's right. No, my side's right. No, my side's right. They find, again, as much as I saw it, they find common ground. And, I'm willing to give people credit where it's due, even if I don't love everything that you did. If you said something right, I'm right there with you. And certainly all through COVID. Jimmy was ringing the right bells in my eyes. So, not a huge fan in the sense that I follow everything he says. I usually don't click on his videos, but I am subscribed. And then we see something like this, and I'm like, oh, all right, let's do it. Let's do it. Welcome.
Just because of the way how harshly he's treated by the same system that they view as corrupt.
Is anybody else shocked that, because Bill Maher seemed genuinely baffled that they didn't go with this amazing case, which you don't think they would have if they could have, Bill?
Right.
But just
that's where the left is thinking it just stops 1 inch shorter of where it needs to be. They should have gone with the big case. Maybe there's a reason that they didn't. Yeah, shout out to Kurt.
The 51 intelligence agents, all this bullshit you've seen. I can't believe how innocent Trump must be now, because you couldn't find anything with the whole CIA.
You
had to make up bullshit with all the intelligence community. Mm-hmm. Couldn't find a real P tape. That's amazing.
They couldn't. That's
after all this time, the best they could get was some nebulous financial crimes, and they had to extend the statute of limitations and tie it to some fabricated felony. That's the best they could do. Tell me any other person in Washington could endure that and come out clean the other side. Not happening. And again, that's the part that they don't want you to think about. They want you to think about oh, well, he's getting investigated, so he must be bad, and they're not getting investigated, so they must not be bad. That's not how it works.
Intelligence community couldn't find a real P tape. That's amazing.
They couldn't. That's the thing that it is amazing, and it's why what we've said on this show before. It's why it took so long for them to impeach Trump, because they had to find a crime that he committed that they also weren't guilty of.
Oh, slowing down weapons to Ukraine.
So he slowed down weapons to Ukraine, which is one of the only reasons to vote for Trump, and that night made it a criminal offense.
Yeah,
an impeachable offense.
They didn't get weapons fast enough. Get them out.
So do you think that I was actually shocked?
I gotta say, I really do not like the structure of Jimmy's show, where he's just sitting there and then everything just piles on top of each other. It looks very disorganized. I don't want to see this here. Fill her up there. What are we doing? Production value, guys. Come on.
So do you think that I was actually shocked to see Bill Maher say why ain't they charging him with the real crime of January 6th?
Bill, think a minute.
How exactly? Just one more minute and you'll get there. Just think one more minute.
So I think that most of the country is now, when Vivek Ramaswamy said it at that Republican debate that was an FBI inside job. Do you think that what's your feeling? What's your sense? Do you think most of the country is, meaning 51%? Do you think that a majority of Americans are starting to realize that? Because that's what it was.
I think it's going to still take some time for people that were on the far left to accept that reality.
Oh, definitely. I think that it may be at 51, just at 51, maybe 50.5% right now. We see the tide turning because it's always been a slight majority, but the outward perspective that you're allowed to share has not been in line with reality. So she's right that it's going to take some time for people to be open about what they actually think, but they do already think that. And there are a lot of people on the fringes that maybe don't, but normal people know it's good.
I think it's going to still take some time for people that were on the far left to accept that reality. I was saying from day one, you're just not. I lived in DC a couple of blocks from where this went down. There is a camera on every corner. You just are not going to ever make me believe that they dropped off pipe bombs outside of the DNC and the RNC, and they just can't catch this guy. Meanwhile, they were catching grandmas who were within 10 feet of the Capitol building and bringing them in and arresting them. So it was very obvious to me that it was an inside job. And I think they have been so severely propagandized because of every day they were just talking to them saying, we almost lost the country. It was an insurrection. I had family members that were messaging me asking me if I was okay. And it was bonkers. I have to tell you this because what people forget. So I could have used those texts the entire summer when Black Lives Matter was burning down Washington, D.C. They were you'd walk outside. They were breaking into cars, breaking into apartments. They were
shout out to the summer of love, baby.
Boarding up places where people worked, places of worship. The place was on fire. You couldn't hear a single sound on the day of the Capitol, and yet they were showing images to make it seem like Washington, D.C. was under siege. So that sort of stuff, it really works. People's minds get programmed, and it's hard for them to accept that what the media told them and what they believed they watched just wasn't so.
Yep. But again, people are waking up. Shout out to Carl Johansson. Welcome to the party. So I don't think Candace Owens is anti-Semitic, but I do think she is a diversity hire. She's one of those people, those media people, the right just embrace because they don't want to be seen as racist or sexist. You know, it might have started out that way. I think you might be right in the sense that it started out that way, but I think people genuinely follow her now. I mean, she's not part of, you know, she got ousted from the Daily Wire. She took a little break, and so she came back. Everybody was like, "Word up, Candace is back." So I mean, it may have started out that way. It definitely is possible that it started out that way, but today, people definitely like Candace for Candace. Shout out to Trey Williams in the building. Welcome. Said the BLM riots were caused by the FBI. Yup. FBI, CIA, whatever, you know, all the people who are working together to just make everything that Trump does look bad. It was there that where else were we gonna get pipe bombs and the bricks that were set up and get out of here. But welcome to the party, Trey. I'm going to assume King is talking about Carl, but correct me if I'm wrong. Welcome, guys.
Them to accept that what the media told them and what they believed they watched just wasn't so. You know, that it was a small picture of something else. So I think obviously people that supported Trump from the beginning know that it's crap, but I still think that there are too many people who believe what Bill Maher believes. And listen, they're having their ideas reinforced when he says it. Hey, why didn't we get them? For January 6th, why didn't we get Donald Trump? Full derangement.
Thank you, Governor Cuomo, for setting everyone straight.
And here may be the craziest part of this. Let's listen to Adam Kinzinger. Watch this.
And good for you for January 6th.
Yeah, well,
yes,
thanks. I didn't cause it, but I was there.
Yeah.
So I think that the weird thing is, though, Hunter Biden, I would also say, was put in jail or was convicted,
of course,
because of politics.
Of course.
And unfortunately, that never.
I am speechless.
Never gets out.
There's a laptop full of his crimes
with much lower crimes because of politics.
Joe Biden has locked up. The prisons are full of people because they did exactly what Hunter Biden did on that laptop.
10% for the big guy,
which is smoke crack with hookers, and not only that, but there's also actual, international crimes that he set up with China and Ukraine and his father and his uncle. Those crimes are on there. Plus, we have not only that, plus the gun crime. Now, they're right,
which shouldn't be a crime, but it is a crime.
In one little sense that this was in a sense, politics are infused into this because they took the lowest of all crimes that he committed on that laptop and tried to convict him of that so they could go, look, we're not partisan. So what would...
Shout out to Dunebug over on Kick. Yes, sir, or ma'am, or whoever. This is live. Welcome to the party. We also got Mr. E. Welcome to the party. We got Gwenifer in the building. Said Hunter was protected due to politics. And of course, we got our dude, our man, the Funk Master General, coming in hot with the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so very much. We'll see if he's gonna take it. It is I don't know if it was fireworks or something, but he was not happy about it. Let's see, you gonna take it? There we go. Thank you so much. That's right, every donation comes with a treat for my co-host Morty. Thank you so much, guys. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you.
Politics are infused into this because they took the lowest of all crimes that he committed on that laptop and tried to convict him of that so they could go, look, we're not partisan. So what would you say to what he just said there?
You took the words right out of my mouth. They picked actually the lowest of his crimes. Like when you go through that laptop, I mean, the things that they should be investigating on the basis of text messages. I remember I shared a text message between Hunter Biden and his parents about what would amount to an incestuous pedophilic affair in their family and how worried he was about this getting out. And Twitter at that time, which was pretty much being run by the state, took it down because they said that it re-victimizes a potential victim of a crime. And it's like, okay, so...
Yeah, if you're just joining us, Bill Maher just said that, well, okay, fine. The reason that Trump got all these charges was political, but Also, this other, what is it, Adam Kinzinger? I've heard the name. I'm not super familiar with him, but well, you know, also Hunter Biden, you know, he's only been prosecuted for politics. Like, come on, bro, come on, what are we talking about here? Carl said Candace Owens is a feminist LARPing as a conservative. Her embrace of the insane things Kanye says, and the way she continues to promote him after the naked wife and prawn site is cringe. All right, fair enough. I think I don't see where the feminist part comes in. I definitely think that she is willing to do whatever for attention. I don't know how that's directly feminist, but to each their own. Mr. E said, one of the worst tastes in my soul's mouth. And what are we talking about? All right. Show me the humble ways of common decency among the... What are you guys talking about?
State took it down because they said that it re-victimizes a potential victim of a crime. And it's like, okay, so I'm assuming...
Oh, we got a bunch of people who don't like Candace. Dunebug says, Twitter was ran by the state. Okay, I agree with you there for sure. And Candace is dumb. All right, all right.
Somebody's going to pick up this baton and talk about these text messages, which are very incriminating about what's going on in that family. Nope, nobody's ever touched it since, spoken about it since. And then I think literally today, the Daily Mail came out and said, hey, by the way, the CIA was involved. Bombshell report. The CIA was involved in censoring the laptop. Oh, bombshell report. Okay, this is not a bombshell report. We all understood the state was involved in censoring this laptop.
Right, but there's certain people who won't accept it until their chosen authority says so. It doesn't matter what you know to be true. If they, whether it's the government, whether it's your chosen media outlet, if they haven't said it, it is not true.
The idea that they were even trying to tell people that it wasn't real was literally a case study in psychological convincing of people not to believe their own eyes. It's like, this isn't real. What do you mean? It's Hunter Biden and he's smoking crystal meth. I'm watching the video. That's not real. It's Russian disinformation. I mean, they ran that playbook all the way through to the election and people believed it. And there are people, believe it or not, who still believe it, that it was Russian disinformation. They did not. They followed the crucial instruction not to believe their own eyes.
You know, you mentioned Black Lives Matter protests before. Where I didn't see any of your coverage of that. Could you just give us, what was your take on all that whole summer of protests?
No, the summer of love.
There you go.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
The summer of love. But I was 9 months pregnant and couldn't walk down the street because people were, I guess, Black people were being told by the media that it was their right to break into places to steal.
Shout out to Logan. Welcome to the party. Good to see ya. What's a religious thing? I don't know what you're talking about.
Because people were, I guess, Black people were being told by the media that it was their right to break into places, to steal flat screen TVs, do whatever they wanted because George Floyd had died. And I had my most viral video that I've ever done because it was so weird for me to watch the media, absent any facts, try to convince people that this was just some good guy who was hunted down on the basis of being Black. I ended up doing a documentary on it. Look, it's a sad story. He was a drug addict and drug addiction is always a sad personal story, but this was not about race whatsoever. And the media intentionally withheld different angles from that video.
If you have not already, I got the whatever Daily Wire thing and covered the entire documentary that she put out about George Floyd. I went through that entire thing and they do go to Derek Chauvin's mom. Derek Chauvin's mom has the physical police handbook that shows you are supposed to do exactly what Derek Chauvin did in that moment. Yeah, I don't know what y'all are talking about.
Race whatsoever. And the media intentionally withheld different angles from that video. Derek Chauvin should not be in prison. It's actually very sad. If you want to talk about prosecuting something by the media, if you go watch my documentary and see the different angles from when he was quote unquote on his neck, he was actually in a police position that they're told to put people in that's on their, it's basically from where you're sitting. If I do this, it looks like I'm holding the back of my neck, but I'm not. It's actually my upper back. And further, which is even more astonishing, George Floyd asked to be put on the ground. They tried to arrest him peacefully for a very long time. And then he said, I don't want to go in the police cruiser. I don't want to go here. I can't breathe. I also showed his prior arrest where he said the exact same thing.
Let's actually take a minute and go through a little bit of that. Let's see. George Floyd. Oh, it's here somewhere. The fall of Minneapolis. All right, let's go through this a little bit. Welcome. This was a members only stream. Let's see if we can find.
I can't breathe, man. I can't breathe.
Actually, this is his mom.
Just straight lie.
But I thought that if you're wearing a uniform, I thought if you're a police officer, I thought if you're a doctor. Oh, here it is. Here we go. Right here.
Derek's manual.
These are Derek's training manuals.
And
In her
MRT
hand.
is in there?
Yes.
Boom. Sure this. I mean, like, I don't know what else there is to say. Unless Liz Collins and Derek Chauvin's mom are straight out lying that the picture we see here is not in the manual, then I don't know what we're talking about here. It's in the manual. I don't know what we're talking about here.
It's in there.
And I mean, again, the head, the knee, the other knee.
So how can you say that's not part of the training? So the chief of police at that time told a freaking lie.
Under oath. Damn. So just in case, let me drop the link here if you would like to see that in full. I went through the entire documentary, and it is behind the oh, well, actually it's for members only now, but if you are a member, it's right there. And it is a you know, the original is behind their paywall. All right, let's dive back in here.
To be put on the ground. They tried to arrest him peacefully for a very long time. And then he said, I don't want to go in the police cruiser. I don't want to go here. I can't breathe. I also showed his prior arrest where he said the exact same thing. He said, I don't want to do this. I can't breathe. So he was a repeat offender in that city who had to use that same language, even the lie, by the way.
So let's see. Dunebug is saying, I'm convinced Republicans just like looking at Hunter's cock. I said, how so? It's been 10 years and they still got nothing. Well, we will see. They always look away when Trump commits crimes, but hop on every chance to attack Hunter. What world are you living in, bro? Name one day in the last 9 years that there wasn't some type of case either over Trump's head or that they were trying to put over Trump's head. You are living in a different world, homie. Logan said Minneapolis burned for a lie because the race grift was so desperate for a supply of racism that it is disgusting. All this does is make people not believe anything and anything else, even if it's real. Yep. Right.
Breathe. So he was a repeat offender in that city who had to use that same language, even the lie, by the way, that he called out for his mom. They never showed you this. That was his nickname. I want mama. That was his nickname for his girlfriend.
That was also in his previous arrest. His the time where he was arrested before, you know, the big arrest where he died. He used the same thing. Oh, mama, 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 and he was calling out and tried to play, tried to do the whole thing again. Go check out the thing. Absolute which fake crimes? Yeah, fake crimes for Trump. Hunter did them shits. And again, I'm willing to say that as long as you're not on drugs and using the gun at the same time, that should not be a crime. I'm there. I'm consistent with my principles. But, you know, Mike says Republicans like to attack Trump. Well, no, what? What? Well, I mean, they used to, yeah. Pretty sure they're still voting for a felon and a traitor. Republicans refuse to admit he is a criminal and a traitor. Okay, how's he a traitor? Tell me how he's a traitor.
They never showed you this. That was his nickname. I want mama. That was his nickname for his girlfriend. He had a Caucasian girlfriend, also ironic, given this was all about race, who testified that was her nickname. And in previous arrests, he had said the same thing. I want mama. I want to call mama. And that was his girlfriend. So there were so many lies that were told. And the thing that was so sinister and evil about it was that it led to full division in our society.
And Funkmaster brings up a great point that all the passengers walked away, no problem. Watch that interaction with the cop on the other side of the car. And again, if you all remember, check out the video because we got all of that. Nirvana said, they said he bad, bad man bad. Pretty much.
And the thing that was so sinister and evil about it was that it led to full division in our society along racial lines, people hating each other, and the media was complicit in it, right? The truly evil state media, Operation Mockingbird, what they do is what the state wanted this division ahead of an.
Why does their gender matter if you like or don't like what they're saying? If you don't like what they're saying, then don't like them. What does being a woman have to do with it? You an incel, bro? You mad at women, bro? I'm 5'4", and I'm not mad at women. You definitely shouldn't be.
State media, Operation Mockingbird, what they do is what the state wanted this division ahead of an election, and they were willing to use, the story of George Floyd, which is actually a sad story. I am compassionate towards his struggles after having met with his roommates about his drug addiction, to further the divide that they wanted.
Why do you hate black people?
Do you think it's like? Do you think it's nice Pelosi thanked him?
I loved that too. Like, I think it's so crazy where they're so angry at you that they just go, well, you're the first black white supremacist. I'm like, yeah, sure. I want to help build a society that I can't live in. That's exactly what I want to do every day. I'm like, how can I just get us back to Jim Crow laws? I would love nothing more.
Hey, shout out to the Short Kings. Let's go. Dilly dilly. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I'm not going to go over that. I'm not going to litigate the whole fake electors, alternate electors. That's not what we're talking about tonight.
That's exactly what I want to do every day. I'm like, how can I just get us back to Jim Crow laws? I would love nothing more. Insane.
So now when you say you have different camera angles on the George, so now I didn't know this. I haven't seen your documentary. I apologize. I should have, because I know, because I know the way they so when the media reported the Kyle Rittenhouse story, now it got me worked up. I hated Kyle Rittenhouse because he was a white supremacist who brought guns to a Black Lives Matter protest to shoot black people, and he shot 3 black people. Then I watched the first of all, I watched the court case, and it turns out he did live in that community. He was a lifeguard in that community. He didn't cross state lines with guns, and he didn't shoot 3 black people. He shot 3 white people.
And they were pedophiles.
And they were all criminals. And the first one was...
That's not what you said. Originally, you said that your problem with Candace is the feminine nature of women voting or running for office. I don't see how having women political commentators makes sense if they shouldn't vote. So first, you're smuggling in that you think they shouldn't vote, and I don't understand why. I think that there definitely is an issue with women being engaged in politics, but that's an issue across the gender spectrum. And the problem is that there's a lot of women who know what the fuck is good, and a bunch of dumbass dudes. And so when you phrase it like this, because you only know the people that you see, it looks really bad because it doesn't make sense. Shout out to Guam Tech. Welcome to the party. Oh, we gonna be here. We ain't there yet. Wait, well, hold up on that. I mean, Happy America Month, but we ain't 4th of July yet. We gonna be here. We gonna be celebrating. Don't you worry about that. But thank you, and welcome to the party.
He shot 3 white people,
and they were pedophiles,
and they were all criminals. And the first one was a pedophile. I'm like, well, that's different. That's a different story. And then, of course, you find out that all 3 of those people that he shot were attacking him. The one guy was let out of a loony bin that morning, and he threatened to kill Kyle all day long. And then we know he attacked him because his fingerprints are on the gun barrel. And then when Kyle started running towards the cops, 2 other criminals chased him down and hit him over the head with this.
Not to mention, Gage Grosskreutz was filming him and asked him who he was, and Kyle said that he was going to the police. But Grosskreutz said on the stand originally that he thought that Kyle said that he was with the police. So Kyle's running this way towards the police. Gage Grosskreutz thinks he said, "I'm with the police." So he backs up, he turns around, and then he turns around again towards the guy who he just thought said, "I'm with the police," and points a fucking gun at him. What? Why is he not in jail? Because he's liberal. Founding fathers wanted to end slavery. They never considered giving women the right to vote. And I don't understand the point. Which is, I'm amazed how many people just believe that 3 PDFs were innocent and still do, and that they were black.
Running towards the cops, 2 other
bro. Even Dunebug is calling you a little nutty, man. I'm just saying, because they're people. That's why. Why should you get a vote?
Fingerprints are on the gun barrel. And then when Kyle started running towards the cops, 2 other criminals chased him down and hit him over the head with the skateboard, and another guy pulled a gun on him. And then Kyle shot the guy in the arm with his gun, which I think we should hire Kyle to teach cops how to disarm people. Because if that was a cop, he would have shot him in the face, shot his wife, and shot his dog. But so after that, and then I saw Matt Orfalea did an amazing video which showed you all this what really happened.
It wasn't a mystery.
It wasn't. So
it was right on camera.
It was right on camera what had happened. This guy threatening Kyle, all that stuff. And so I completely flipped on that story and then I realized that the reason why, and people are mad at me. They go, "Why are you defending Kyle Rittenhouse?" I'm not.
You own property or your parents own property? I'm just kidding. But, I got to agree with Doombugs. And imagine turning 50% of your voter base away. Women are at the forefront of any social movement. It makes no sense to shut them down. And, it's just a silly, it's so simplistic. You think, oh, women bad, men good. What do you think will happen? Now, I'm not saying that I disagree with you that women vote in bad ways. I'm not saying that we wouldn't have a different political makeup if women didn't vote. That might be more in line with what I want. But I'm not an authoritarian. Apparently, you're totally fine with that. These people don't vote the way that I like, so we should just shut them up.
That the reason why, and people are mad at me. They go, "Why are you defending Kyle?"
Monk says he owns chips and Capri Suns and he buys with the chore money he gets from his mommy. All right. We attack ideas here, not people. We had a little bit of fun, but let's be nice. Logis and Carl, if you want to limit voting, go with land ownership, not sex. Bingo. I don't agree with land ownership voting. Too easy for rich people to take all the votes, but at least it's not sexist. Yep. But no, they weren't. And I'm just giving you the whole slavery thing, but a bunch of them were slave owners. So, do with that what you will. And the notion that I don't, what do you think you're proving here by saying that people who lived in a different time had different sensibilities? The only thing that says is it gives it more credit to the actual ideas that went into the Constitution, that despite the fact that, no, they weren't sexist, they just lived in a sexist time. Despite the fact that they lived in a sexist time, they were able to come up with ideas that would be timeless. You just think, well, they didn't say it, so they must have hated women. They must not. Come on, bro.
And I realized
it's almost like since then, women have had the ability to get educated and own land and everything else that would be a reason to have a say in how our country moves. What are you talking about? We are moving on from the women discussion because that is not. I'm not doing that.
All that
That's
stuff.
Such a boring conversation.
And so I completely flipped on that story and then I realized that the reason why, and people are mad at.
All right, we'll do one more. Dunebug says, why shouldn't women vote though, besides just their sex? I think that's a fair question. Why, besides the fact that they are women, why would you say that women shouldn't vote? Next is men and women are different, but we're both human. And it takes both of us for any of us to be here. So how can one sex be more important than the other? I don't believe it can. I agree. And again, just because you think this doesn't mean you need to cheer on the fact that women overwhelmingly vote Democrat and overwhelmingly vote against their own interests. I get that. I wish I had as much confidence as you. Do you know what I would do with the amount of confidence that thinking that just by having a dick that I'm smarter and better wow. Yeah, I hats off to you. Hats off to you because the hat wouldn't fit anyway.
On that story and then I realized that the reason why, and people are mad at me. They go, "Why are you defending Kyle Rittenhouse?" I'm not defending Kyle. I'm defending the truth. And why aren't you upset that the corporate media lied to you about a 16-year-old kid so they could divide the country?
Mm-hmm. And that's what they did with the George Floyd case.
And so now you're telling me the same thing with George Floyd.
Yeah. They only showed an image of a girl, a bystander. Her name was Darnella Frazier, who had recorded from the front. So if you record something from the front.
I'm saying we're moving on, but Dunebug, you're bringing up some good points. So Carl, then why not restrict voting to high IQ people? I think he just hates women. Not all women are dumb. Bingo. Why not make an IQ test? I am certainly in favor of making some type of citizenship test or civics test to vote. I am totally for that, so that we don't get dumb people, whatever their sex may be, voting. But I don't think like, it's not a good one, homie. I'm going to say a question for the 4th of July shenanigans. You prefer volleyball or badminton? Volleyball all the goddamn way. What about you guys? 1 for volleyball and 2 for badminton. Which one do you prefer?
A bystander, her name was Darnella Frazier, who had recorded from the front. So if you record,
so do a lot of dudes,
something from the front, it looks entirely different. They fought tooth and nail not to release the police cam. If you watch his full arrest, it's stunning. I mean, everything goes away. You realize what likely happened, and his drug levels showed is they called. Obviously, the call was about a counterfeit bill, and the police arrived there. They were not hunting him down because he was black. They were literally called to the scene of the crime. He was sitting in the car with his drug dealer, and he likely just ingested all of the fentanyl. Right?
I was just talking to you guys about the last time I got arrested. And we were in the car. There was 4 of us. We drove down to Atlantic City, did some ecstasy. We came back. And we were rolling up. And we were on the Atlantic City Expressway, which is like 6 lanes each way. And usually it's fine. Usually you're smoking in the car. Can't nobody tell a thing. It just so happened that on that day, there was an escaped convict from the Atlantic City jail or whatever. And so we're coming up this hill. And as soon as it peaks, then they have a bunch of cops there closing down the whole thing. They close it down to 1 lane. And we're like, oh, no. And then I got arrested, but I wouldn't have, because my boy who was in the passenger seat took the charge for all the bud. But there was somebody behind me, so it was my one of my good friends, somebody in the passenger seat. In the behind me was some dude I didn't know, but behind him, behind passenger's back seat was a guy that I knew from high school, and we were cool, but we weren't really tight like that. Turns out that after we got pulled over, not only did they find the weed in the car, they also found a little baggie with 4 ecstasy pills. Now, and that's how I know it was that guy, because if it was me that had the ecstasy pills, if it was my boy who had the ecstasy pills, or if it was the dude that I knew from high school who had the ecstasy pills, I know for a fact that we would have been like, hey, yo, we got to eat these right now. We're getting pulled over. We got to eat these right now. But because it was my car and, douchebag behind me was a little baby bitch, I had to take that charge. And so, yes, ingesting the drugs when you're arrested is a good idea if you have drugs and don't want to get arrested for them.
The car with his drug dealer, and he likely just ingested all of the fentanyl, right? And he, like I said, he's a repeat offender.
He's also meth. That's in the debunking.
Yeah, he ingested the fentanyl.
Of conservatives.
Hey, shout out to Balance Shays in the building. Welcome to the party. Good to see you. Yeah, as you do. Every once in a while, you take a little trip down to the casino. There's lights, there's colors, there's, you do a little something. And it was a good time. But I always get super super strung out on any kind of or even if I'm doing psychedelics, if I do shrooms or LSD, there's always like this, if but I'm very sensitive to that kind of stuff. And so we had our fun and whatever, and then we're driving home and I'm in the car. I'm like, dude, I need you to roll up now, like please, like I'm driving, I need whatever. And he was like, bro, just wait a little bit. I'm like, no, we're good, we're on the expressway, like what's gonna happen? And then it happened. Cheech and Chong moment. Indeed. All right, moving on.
He's
also meth. That's in the debunking.
Yeah, he ingested the fentanyl.
Of conservatives.
Just so we're clear, he died of a fentanyl overdose. So he did not die because of anything that Derek Chauvin did. That was what is stunning, that they quite literally, this man is sitting in prison. And I genuinely keep Derek Chauvin in my prayers, because what happened to him was so wrong. So they're trying to arrest him peacefully. All the police officers are like, hey man, why are you acting funny? What's going on? Like, are you good? He's like, I don't want to get in the police cruiser. They put him in the police cruiser. He gets up. He's a big dude.
Good one, dude, bud. Good one.
He's really big. And eventually he asks to be put on the ground. There is a police position that they are trained in the academy to subdue someone when they're on the ground. And that is where Derek Chauvin had him. He put his knee on, I don't know what this bone is called, but it's just beneath the neck on the back. And they had that footage, and the state fought for it never to be released.
It's called the shoulder blade, Candace. It's called the shoulder blade.
Okay. You can now find that. If you watch the documentary, we showed the entire arrest. And when you see it from the back and they showed it in court, they never showed the court footage either. And they asked the police officers, where would you say from this angle his knee is on? And they were all like, his back. So it was just the angle of her camera. So this has been the biggest lie. I mean, it was the lie heard around the world. And again, it was to divide Americans a lot.
Guys, I really, really, really like when King Nirvana's here. So if you could just, I don't know, he's off his rocker. So please just hit the like button, because if he leaves, who knows what he's going to do. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Along race lines before an election.
Well, it's easier for me to say that you hate black people. And,
yeah, I know. It's easier for the media too.
Kurt, you want to say something?
Yeah. So, my girl's from Florida, so she's, I don't want to say white trash, but she knows her way around police arrest with drunkenness.
Okay.
And she explained to me, and I never heard of this, the Asian cop who's saying, turn that camera off in it.
Yeah, Doombug, there's still people who think that there was black people involved in the shooting. There wasn't. Just in case somebody out there thinks it was all white people.
The police precinct, you're supposed to have call an ambulance when a guy's on drugs like that. So that guy was supposed to be, while he's subduing Floyd, that guy's supposed to be getting an ambulance, not telling people not to film it. I don't know if an ambulance showed up, but that's massive negligence on the police's part. But if I had to guess, they're not going to say the Asian guy's at fault when they got a white guy, right? Am I wrong?
No, the Asian guy as well was sentenced.
Yeah,
and it was.
I wasn't sure where he was going, but yeah, all three of those dudes got sentenced.
He was like, that was like his first day on the job. It was literally he was literally there to shadow Derek Chauvin. I mean, what has happened to those police officers is a crime. They should all be released. Derek Chauvin died of a drug overdose, as he had been a drug addict for a very long time. He's a drug addict.
Floyd. She just said Derek Chauvin died of a drug overdose. She means George Floyd died of a drug overdose.
Derek Chauvin. I mean, what has happened to those police officers is a crime. They should all be released. Derek Chauvin died of a drug overdose, as he had been a drug addict for a very long time. He's a drug addict and a criminal, and unfortunately,
the sad thing is, think about how much the left would celebrate if that was a true thing. That if Derek Chauvin just somehow decide to start doing drugs in jail and then just die, they'd all be like, "Oh my God, he got what he deserved." Let's go over to our poll of, do you think Candace is anti-Semitic? Obviously, I meant anti-Semitic, and 90% of you said no. 2 of you said yes, but the overwhelming majority of you say no. But Jimmy calls her right out on it to her face, so we'll see how that comes through. Logan said the Asian cop was given a smaller punishment, but was still charged. Yeah. And I mean, I don't think that I would have to. I mean, I don't remember all the details anymore. I forget where I stood on him getting anything, because as she said, like, you're not supposed to just stand there. And I remember the feeling of when we just had the cell phone the cell phone cam footage. Thank you for the likes, guys. I really do appreciate that. I remember we just had that, and then between then and when we got the body cam footage, remember that Dave Chappelle came out with like a comedy special. It wasn't a comedy special, but it was 846 dedicated to Doombug. You're wrong about that. You are absolutely wrong about the fact that I'll paste it here. That is 100% incorrect. You can look that up again. Check out the Fall of Minneapolis. All of the information is in there. What was I saying? I forget. Oh yeah, the comedy special, and it was very without knowing the reality of the situation, it was extremely it pulled at your heartstrings, and I actually got really upset with Papa Lutch because I showed him the thing, and again, this is before we got any body cam footage, so all we're seeing is a guy screaming on the ground with a cop, and I think most of us, even though we are generally like, yes, we need law and order, we're also kind of like, well, the police. I don't know. I mean, would any of you identify as Back the Blue? I would make fun of you. Either way, that's all we saw. And so it was the as we always say, perception is reality. And so it wasn't until we got more information that it was very clear that the perception that we had from that cell phone footage was not accurate. And it doesn't matter how clearly you think you have something on video. That showed us that different angles can make a world of difference.
A drug overdose, as he had been a drug addict for a very long time. He was a drug addict and a criminal, and unfortunately, he met his maker that day because he could not get over his addictions. Now, like I said, I spent time with his roommates. I sat down. They met him in rehab. They talked about his struggles. the media turning him into some sort of an angel who died for the sake of Black people it's an absurd lie. It's a dangerous lie. It's a deranged lie. And I just reserve such anger in my heart for people who think that Derek Chauvin or any of those police officers, after you watch the full arrest tape, you walk away and you go, what did these men do wrong? What did they do wrong? And then, yes, telling people to clear out when people started coming around. That's what you're supposed to do, right? They're coming around, they're starting to film. You've got a guy, you're holding him down, you're arresting him. He's been saying he can't breathe since he was standing up, So unless he's going to tell you, hey, I just ingested enough fentanyl to kill a horse, because that's how much fentanyl he ingested, enough fentanyl to kill a horse. You're just thinking this is somebody that's just trying to avoid an arrest. And they keep asking him, dude, why are you acting weird? What's going on?
Yeah. So then, Dune Bug, how would you respond to that then? Like the fact that we know the toxicology reports say that there is enough fentanyl and meth in his system to kill more than one person. How then do you say that a innocuous police holding position where he was still talking was the cause of death? Unless, I don't want to put words in your mouth. What do you say, Doombug? What do you say is George Floyd's cause of death? Because it certainly was not, lack of breathing.
This is somebody that's just trying to avoid an arrest. And they keep asking him, dude, why are you acting weird? What's going on? He's standing up and saying, I can't breathe. I'm claustrophobic. I don't want to get into the police cruiser.
Guess what you can't do if you can't breathe? Say that you can't breathe.
Put me on the ground. The fact that you don't know these things really shows you how demented and dishonest our corporate media is.
And so do you know what the autopsy's cause of death was?
Yeah. So they had an autopsy that showed, literally, you got to watch my documentary, that showed had enough fentanyl in him to kill a horse.
Okay, so that's what I'm while we got this, I have the documentary here. I'm trying to look for the exact part where she brings up the toxicology report, because it's there. What was his tolerance? It doesn't matter what his tolerance is, dude. Fentanyl. Do you know anything about fentanyl? Do you know anything about fentanyl? There is no way that you have that much fentanyl in your body and you don't die. Or rather, if you die, there's no reason to think anything else than the exorbitant amount of lethal drugs in your system would be the cause of death. And yes, he did say he couldn't breathe. And again, what can you not do if you can't breathe? Say that you can't breathe. Carl said, I have a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so I knew the choking thing was BS from the start. The way Chauvin was postured back, looking at the crowd, prevents his knee pressure to choke Floyd. Yep. How do you know that? Dunebong says, how do you know that he couldn't die from that amount? I'm not saying. I'm saying that you couldn't live and take that amount. You can't let's just take it away from fentanyl. Let's say it's heroin. If you take 7 times the lethal dose of heroin and then you die and somebody was sitting on your lap, would we assume that it was the heroin, or we would assume that you cut off circulation and you died because of that? Again, how do I know that? Because I looked at the toxicology report. Did you? Clearly not.
You got to watch my documentary. That showed that he had enough fentanyl in him to kill a horse. So that's probably, you know what happens when you get fentanyl? I can actually tell you because I had a foot surgery. So they actually get you basically, it makes you stop breathing. That's like that's when it's working.
All right. So let's see what we got here. So I got toxicology report. Question. Portal diagnosis. 27th, prosecutors met with Dr. Baker again. All right. We'll watch the whole thing. Indications that he had been admitted to the meth detox. Ultimate cause of death may prove to be multifactorial diagnosis. 1, coronary artery disease. 2, any stimulants potentially in Mr. Floyd's system while causing his heart to work. Dubong, you're watching, right? 3, the exertion caused by Mr. Floyd's encounter with the police officers. This would depend on the quality, intensity of the encounter, and as we saw, it was very intense and not because of the cops. May 31st, 2020, after days of rioting, prosecutors review the results of Mr. Floyd's toxicology report with Dr. Baker. I met with Baker. methamphetamine, 19, I don't know what, I don't know what the measure, but 19 something per milliliter, fentanyl 11. So let's stop right here. Let's stop right here. What is it? Oh, so it says there is 11 nanograms per milliliter. Let's look up what is a lethal dose of fentanyl. How is it not in here? I just searched it by exactly that. All right, ChatGPT. What is a lethal dose of fentanyl for a human in nanograms per milliliter? So the lethal dose can so between 10 and 100. Okay, 10 and 100. And what do you know? It's right in between 10 and 100. Then what happens when you add 19 nanograms per milliliter of methamphetamine into that? It's almost as like you could like OD. Nanograms, I think it is. Yeah, so 19 nanograms per milliliter of meth and 11 nanograms per milliliter of fentanyl. Oh, and looky here. I don't even know. Maybe I did bring this up, but if you look right under there, what else do we have? Norfentanyl. A fatal level of fentanyl under normal circumstances. Bingo.
Are you on something right now? No,
nothing.
If George Floyd would have told the truth about fentanyl and methamphetamine, could that have helped to save his life?
Yes, it could have.
Didn't even.
That's proven by what happened the year before when he was arrested by.
Oh, good. They're gonna show him calling out to Mama. I'm glad this part is right here.
Police, and he was putting tablets in his mouth.
Open your mouth. Spit out what you got. Spit out what you got.
He admitted at some point that he had swallowed a bunch of pills, and the paramedics came and talked to him and took his blood pressure, and his blood pressure was extremely high, 216 over 160. And so he ended up going to the hospital.
Get your hands off right now.
If he had admitted that he had again ingested pills in the car when they were attempting to
arrest
him.
And in case you didn't see it, let's look at it again.
Admitted that he had again ingested pills in the car.
Now, unless his tooth is falling out, I think that looks like a drugs. But what if it was Lizzo on your lap? It might be up for debate in that case. Sir, you are correct. You are correct, sir. Imagine if Lizzo sat on Ledger's lap. He might physically become a pink. Yeah, probably. I think you are right. Going next to Carl. Not to mention, my instructor literally aimed for your carotid artery, and I still couldn't pass out from it. As long as one dude is open, you cannot. One dude or one side. I think one side. Yeah, one side is open. You cannot pass out. You would certainly disappear. Drugs. Balance says you would have to be suicidal to mess with this stuff. So I'm just going to keep that here. Keep that open as we... I have no idea what just happened. Drugs. Now, don't get me wrong. I like my drugs. But not like that. That ain't that. Yeah, no. That's yeah.
Because him to kill a horse. So that's probably, you know what happens when you get fentanyl? I can actually tell you because I had a foot surgery. So they actually get you basically, it makes you stop breathing. That's like that's when it's working. You're supposed to stop breathing. Like it slows down your breathing. And it's the idea that he took as much as he did.
I'm sorry about
that he even.
I feel so bad. I got up to pee and Morty was scared. So he's been sitting on my lap and I forgot to bring him back up. He's just been sitting under the table. I'm so sorry, Morty. I'm so sorry. Oh, Morty. He's so. Can you see him shaking? No, he's doing his little chihuahua shake. It's subtle, so you can't really tell, but he is terrified. And don't forget, guys, you can cheer him up with a treat. We got a whole bowl of treats here. Every donation comes with a treat for Morty. Shout out to Bratty Girl. Welcome to the party. So I look just like Azalea Banks. Isn't that a chick? I'll take it. I'll take it. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Let's dive back in here.
Stop breathing. That's like that's when it's working. You're supposed to stop breathing. Like it slows down your breathing, and it's the idea that he took as much as he did, that he even had the ability to take as much as he did and still be alive for as long as he was, is what's shocking.
Well, maybe.
And that goes to the the tolerance argument that like a normal person would not even be able to have gone through that interaction for that long. And the fact that he was gigantic and that he had the meth in his body as well to counteract the effects in that moment. Like, trust me, bro, I've done some zombie lines. All right. You take some Xanax. You shouldn't do this, but I have done this, and I would not suggest it because, despite the fact that it was the greatest feeling of my life, I definitely thought I was going to die. So you take some Xanax, you mix it up, you chop it up, you take some Oxycontin, chop it up, take some cocaine, you chop it up, and you mix it all together, and you don't do it, kids. Just don't do it. Just don't do it.
Ability to take as much as he did and still be alive for as long as he was is what's shocking.
Well, maybe
he was an addict.
Maybe the Innocence Project will take up the case of Officer Cove.
I genuinely hope that somebody does, and I hope that just us talking about it, that people will be outraged about what happened to those police officers.
So
yeah, probably not going to go any further than it already has, though, right?
I just wanted to play this. I saw your interview with Piers Morgan, who was sharp as a tack. So I just wanted to run. I want to play this, and then I wanted to ask you a question about it. So here he is making a big.
Yo, shout out to King Nirvana. Yo, me and you got a lot more in common than we know. You got we got a lot more in common than we know. Short Kings on that cape. Let's go. Let's go. Oh man, the pins. Hey, shout out to our boy Carl Johansson. Said not thinking women shouldn't vote doesn't mean I hate women. It means I love women. Feed the puppy. Well, indeed I will, sir. Thank you so much. Let's get this out of the way. And a treat for you. There you go. Thank you, sir. And of course, that makes you the new co-sponsor of the stream. Very, very, very much appreciated. And see, I love that we can come here, have different opinions, and kind of go at each other a little bit. But we know there's a bottom line of respect that we are all here to push a message that we want America, the world, whatever it is, society to be a better place. So, Carl, I very, very much appreciate you being here, and I appreciate this as well. I got to say, I appreciate you being here more than I appreciate the $5, but I definitely appreciate the $5. Thank you, sir. Let's dive right back in.
I want to play this, and then I wanted to ask you a question about it. So, here he is making a big admission about that the vaccine. He all of a sudden he found out it doesn't stop transmission or contraction, which we knew in 2021 at this show. I knew that in mid 2021, and when I told people, they would get angry.
Me too.
Angry at me for telling them.
Mm-hmm.
I learned when I caught COVID after getting it. That's how I found out.
So we knew that, and so now he's just figured it out. And he's saying, hey, but he's trying to make it out like that's not a big deal. That's the big.
Shout out again to our co-sponsors, Carl and the Funk Master General. If you have not hit the like button on that super chat, hit that like button on the super chat.
Biggest deal in the world, because if it doesn't stop transmission and contraction, then you have no basis for mandates. You have no basis for excluding people who aren't vaccinated from public life. You have if it doesn't stop. So if you're vaccinated and you can still transmit it and you can still contract it, then I guess it's, according to the FDA and the CDC, it's still a vaccine, but a lot of people are going to say it's not. But let me play this and get your reaction.
Take my one clarification about the ability of a vaccine to prevent transmission as being some great mea culpa that I think.
That's a huge mea culpa, Piers. That's a huge mea culpa. That's a huge mea culpa, because that means that you want people to go out and to get an experimental vaccine in their arm and encourage them not to listen to independent voices that were saying, hold on. That's a huge mea culpa. People died from the vaccine. So you're talking about people that died from not getting it. There have been scores of people who died from the vaccine. There have been scores of people like my grandfather who got the vaccine and then and were dead within 1 year because it led to their dementia suddenly spreading or advancing rather in a way.
Shout out to baby Mahara. Welcome to the party. Said Biden voters are so broken now and losing faith in Biden. I've been pretending I'm a Green Party voter to try and convince them to vote Jill Stein. That's the psyop we need. Welcome to the party. I am so jealous of you. What did you call it? The struggle cuddle? What did you say? The struggle cuddle. I'm so jealous. I finally worked up the courage and the social whatever to go in and say, I want to sign up. Let's do this, everything. And 2 weeks later, then COVID started and the gym shut down, and then I moved, and now I'm super far away from everything, and I'm doing this, and I got my job, and I don't know, but if I'd stuck with it, if the first thing I'd done when I'd moved here is found a gym, I've seen them around, I might be right behind you guys, but one of these days.
Because it led to their dementia suddenly spreading or advancing rather in a way. Stop. I let you.
You do not know that was down to the vaccine, do you?
Okay. First and foremost, they have admitted so much. They lied about the 6 feet social distancing that just came out 2 weeks ago.
That's why, okay, maybe you don't know that the dementia and the vaccine are connected. But there's so much else that even if they're not, that doesn't do anything for your argument. There were widespread lies, and people who were skeptical because of the lies were called conspiracy theorists. And now y'all are all saying the same shit we were saying for years. Balance said, I don't know, Carl, some guys are just as emotional these days. That's what I'm saying. I think betas, I like going by either IQ or a civics test. You pass the civics test and you're good. Yeah, right? I mean, goddamn ninja warrior. Dunebug says that Biden is leading right now. Against who? Against Biden? I mean, against Trump? Lichman predicted his win. Well, if Lichman predicted his win, what else can we say? No, nobody. So also experts say that the compressions on his test were a component of death, not just the drugs. That's a very different thing than he killed him. So if you're saying that there was a combination of drugs and a textbook police hold, then what you're saying is without the drugs, the textbook police hold would have been fine. So the only reason that the textbook police hold didn't had any issue is because of the drugs in his system. So yes, it may be a confluence of issues, but the only reason that any of the issues matter to each other is because of the drugs. That's the only connecting tissue. That has been the entire point. And no, nobody said the COVID vax is fake. It's just not what they told us it was. And if you think it is, then you are very, very, very misled. Shout out to Dietrich. Welcome to the party. Said I stood against the vaccine. And I wanted a job saving people who got the vaccine, so I had to get the vaccine. Oh, I like to think I'm like Brad Pitt in World War Z, but I'm still infected. Yep. One of the good ones. Shout out to all the purebloods. What do you mean it's not what we thought it was? Well, when they tell you transmission stops with you, and then it's not that. That's what I mean.
First and foremost, they have admitted so much. They lied about the 6 feet social distancing that just came out 2 weeks ago. And you were on the side of all of these people. So don't pretend that's a small mea culpa. People died from blood clots pertaining to the vaccines that you were telling them to rush out and get. Okay.
People died.
Had they have waited and perhaps listened.
That's Jim Bug's asking if transmission went down. I don't care. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about whether the media and political establishment lied to people. Let's pull it up. Rachel Maddow, Dr. Fauci, Joe Biden. Who would you like? How about let's go with Rachel Maddow? Oh, that's the last one I get.
I will just say before we do that, just as a personal plea from me, if you have been putting off being vaccinated for whatever reason, don't agonize about it. Don't let anybody make you feel bad about that and get you defensive about it. Just make a fresh decision now. Take a fresh look at the issue now, looking at what's going on now, no matter why you have put it off in the past. No judgment.
And this is from December of 2021. So this is long after people were already like, it does not stop transmission.
Now is the time to actually go do it. Because we really cannot afford you having to go to the hospital right now. If you're unvaccinated,
never went, never got COVID.
You have a much higher chance of getting this newly transmissible variant we had never seen before a couple of weeks ago. And it's the unvaccinated people who it's going to make sick. And we really just cannot afford for you to have to go to the hospital right now. I mean, looking all around the country, depending on where you live, there's a very good chance there's no room for you in the hospital right now if you need to go. And if you can somehow get a bed because you got COVID and you got sick from it because you weren't vaccinated.
You don't deserve it because you wouldn't give up your body to the government like they should tell you. And also, we need abortion because my body, my choice. Get out of here. Get out of here. Let's just see it.
If you are able to get yourself into a bed, you're going to be filling a bed that somebody else really needs.
And again, the implication, they deserve it more. They deserve it more because you did not want to trust the government with medical decisions.
So even if you didn't feel like you could do it before, even if you've been holding off for whatever reason, look at it freshly now. Now would be the time. Even if it wasn't okay for you before, it's okay for you to do it now. Honestly, your country needs you. And if you are vaccinated, but you haven't been boosted yet and you're eligible for your booster, make your appointment for your booster. Now's the time. And I know from anecdotal experience where in part of the country where I live right now, signing up for a booster right now is sometimes hard to find an appointment. The only reason I'm saying that is not because you should be discouraged from trying to get one, but because if you know you need to get your booster, you should try to make your appointment now because you may have to make it some distance in advance in order to get into a vaccination site. So time to do it. This is it.
This is it. Hold on. I got you.
Physical distancing brings down the number of contacts.
I mean, I like, are we disputing that she said that? Are we disputing that Fauci said that? Are we disputing that Biden said that? Because like we can go down the rabbit hole if we want and just derail the entire show for this. But like, are we really going to pretend nobody said it stops transmission and you can't get it? We got this.
New York City had its biggest concert in over a year at Madison Square Garden over the weekend, where the band Foo Fighters performed for an all-vaccinated crowd, even included a guest appearance from Dave Chappelle. It was the venue's first full-capacity concert since March of 2020. So in some states...
Why is this the only vaccine in history people are against? Because they lied! Because of the lies. That's what I'm telling you, Dunebug. The lies. The lies. The lies. I can say it again. The lies.
Things aren't going well. But things are also headed the wrong way in states with low vaccination rates, where the highly contagious Delta variant is getting a foothold. At the beginning of May, President Biden announced an aggressive goal of vaccinating 70% of adults by July 4th. Today, the Biden administration announced the country will narrowly miss that goal. The question now is how to keep pushing against what looks worryingly like a kind of vaccine ceiling in many parts of the country. Dr. Anthony Fauci is the chief medical advisor for President Biden, director of National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases at the National Institute of Health. Earlier today, he warned the new Delta variant is the greatest threat to eliminating COVID-19 in the United States, and he joins me now. Let's start with that right now. You know, a few months ago, I started taking up a kind of fairly bullish banner on COVID because the vaccines look so efficacious, and particularly as deployment got better, it really felt like, okay. The first time that I've started to feel bearish again is in the last few weeks, and it's because of these numbers. This is 14-day COVID-changing cases.
I don't have the exact. I don't know where if somebody wants to find the exact clip, go find the exact clip. But if I don't think we're arguing that people said it stops transmission. They said it stops transmission. It does not stop transmission. That is a lie. When you lied to me about medical shit, I don't trust you. Full stop.
So don't pretend that that's a small mea culpa. People died from blood clots pertaining to the vaccines that you were telling them to rush out and get. Okay.
People died.
Had they have waited and perhaps listened to independent voices who understood that there was some government noise.
Whoa. I think they were assuming people were intelligent when they said transmission stopped. When they say transmission stopped, I understand that they meant transmission decreases. Oh, cope fucking harder. That's not what those words mean, motherfucker. That's not what those words mean. Slow down and stop are very different things. So if you go to a stop sign and you just roll through, you know that's what they meant, right? Come on, bro. Get the fuck out of here. That's some bullshit and you know it.
People died.
So, okay, fine. So then you agree that they lied. You agree that they lied. They said stopped and it wouldn't stop. Do we agree on that? Then what are we talking about? My issue is that they lied. If you don't disagree that they lied, then we have nothing to talk about. 15% of Americans are badass.
They perhaps listened to independent voices who understood that there was some government. No, I let you talk about your mea culpa. Had they have paused and listened to independent voices who have, I think, probably a greater strength when it comes up to standing up to government initiatives, because we recognize that the government is not our friend, and we recognize that the government is not trying to save our lives. Maybe those people would be alive. Maybe my friends
No, Dunebug, that's why I didn't take it, because I knew they were lying.
Who had miscarriages.
And you don't think there's an intent in getting billions and billions and billions of dollars to Big Pharma? Where's the intent? Where's the intent? I don't get it. Nobody got paid for this. Nobody got paid for this. Oh, wait, they did, though. Lots and lots and lots and lots of money. And when are those papers going to be released? 2076, right? 2076. So by then, it won't matter. Whatever they're hiding, we won't know until it's far too late. So you can trust the people that lie to you all you want, homie. And I mean, I hope that works out for you. But you ain't gonna fucking make me feel bad for not listening to people who lie to my face.
Is not trying to save our lives. Maybe those people would be alive. Maybe my friends who had miscarriages and my friends who were saying that it was impacting their menstruation until the government was ready to admit that 7 months later. If you had listened to people that were telling you their own experiences, someone I know that went completely blind in one eye because of some weird ocular clots. So don't pretend that's a small thing. I just want to say, I'm happy to accept that you've changed your mind.
Let me respond.
But don't pretend it's a small thing. People died from the vaccine.
Let me respond.
And by the way, I want to be clear for people watching this. He's saying still get it. I'm saying still don't. Just so you can hear a different opinion. Do not allow the government to put that in your arm.
Okay.
God's system works. The government is not fixing you in any regard.
And do you feel the same way about the flu shot?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Let's do a poll. If you so let's say, what do you do when it comes to the flu shot? Let's do always, sometimes, or never. Steampunk said, why would you trust any vaccine if it's all Big Pharma? Because they have longitudinal studies that you can look at the study and see, not just, oh, there's a study done, but I can look at the study. And as somebody who is scientifically literate, I can see, oh, this study is valid. And this study, even though the conclusions say exactly what they wanted them to think, crazy that it's not a valid study. Scientists said yes. Must be a good thing. Shout out to Dylan Soup. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Good to see you. Good to see you. Carl said 15% of Americans are unvaccinated for COVID. 5% of those are women. If you want to date unvaxxed women, that's about 1.5% of the population. Crazy odds. Well, I mean, I guess we'll be single then. I don't care if she's vaccinated.
Fixing you in any regard.
And do you feel the same way about the flu shot?
Yes.
So I just have to, so we don't lose our channel, remind people that the FDA and the CDC says the vaccine is safe and effective. And
they do good work.
And they do great work over it.
Yeah, don't forget about the food pyramid.
Steel shit that Bill Gates puts on the fruit now that makes it all rubbery.
And they it doesn't stop the transmission, but it certainly slows it and will keep you from being.
Yeah.
Dunebug says, why didn't other vaccine companies call out Pfizer? Wouldn't that help them? No, because they're working together. If you call out Pfizer's vaccine, then if there's a problem with this vaccine, why wouldn't there be a problem with that vaccine? Duh. It's called oligarchy. Hence the moniker Big Pharma.
Yeah. And they it doesn't stop the transmission, but it certainly slows it.
I said shit me too. Anyone said I was on board for vaccination and flu shots before this debacle has opened my eyes to the corruption of the system. The new flu shots are gonna be mRNA technology. I've never gotten a flu shot. And when this when COVID came around, my opinion, I've said this many times, my opinion was, okay, I mean, whenever it just becomes inconvenient, like I'm sure they're gonna have mandates and all this stuff. Whenever it becomes inconvenient, I'll just get the shot because I don't care. Then they started lying, and I was like, "Don't trust you. Don't trust you." Sorry. Wontek says to Dunebug, bro, if you can't admit that every bit of the narrative for COVID and the vax has been completely torn to shreds, you're just not paying attention or willfully ignorant. Yup. Yeah, Joe Biden math.
He puts on the fruit now that makes it all rubbery.
And they it doesn't stop the transmission, but it certainly slows it and will keep you from being seriously ill,
no, we don't know what that means.
Hospitalized or dead. Okay, now people like Piers Morgan really piss me off, and I'm glad that you said that to him. Are you?
They are. Why isn't small? Have you heard of Robert Malone? Have you heard of Peter McCullough? And to the response, why isn't small pharma calling out fake COVID vax? Again, you're either not paying attention or you're willfully ignorant. There are people. You're just not paying attention. You just hear what you want to hear, and then you go on with your life. The rest of us, talking about being intelligent and everything, we don't just interpret whatever we feel like we want to see from the TV. That's stupid. Well, like I said, they lied like they've always lied. Stop trusting and making excuses. The people who want the worst for you, they don't care about you. They care about profits. Bingo. Yep.
Piers Morgan really pissed me off, and I'm glad that you said that to him. Are you still surprised that people like that are, even after they've been proven that they lied about masks, they lied about the origin of the virus, they lied about funding the origin of the virus, they lied about herd immunity, natural immunity, transmission, contraction. There wasn't a thing they lied about the studies. There wasn't a thing they didn't lie about, and yet people like Piers Morgan still cling to that. What do you make of that?
Well, I think it's partially about his power. And so what they do, and I see this all the time, left and right, by the way, where they will be cowards. They will go and they will accept whatever the state.
No, any film, but there would have to be like an incentive, or like somebody would have to like get something out of it in order for them to do bad things, right? This doesn't, this didn't happen. They wouldn't do that. Like, they care so much about everything except money and your well-being as a person that they wouldn't do this. Come on, man. You know better than that. This is America. Dr. Fauci is the highest paid politician that we have. And he's a scientist. Don't you understand that he is the science?
Left and right, by the way, where they will be cowards. They will go and they will accept whatever the state says. And then when they feel it's perfectly safe safe to say something different, right? When people are literally dropping dead in the street from myocarditis, they'll be like, hey, you know what? Actually, maybe we should listen to these people. And then they'll say, I'm sorry, I got this one thing wrong. And it's like, it was just a small thing. It was just a small mea culpa that I had to make. But, the rest.
They said stop the transmission, but they really just meant slowed it down. That's just like a little thing that I know, that even though they said stopped, that we all knew they didn't mean the word that they said. Like, what?
Some stuff I said was true. And that's why you have to call these people out. You have to call these people out because they continue to do this, and people will continue to watch them, not realizing that they're watching someone who lied to them, who could have done great harm to them because they were unwilling to tell the truth. Listen, I don't mind if the state scares you. I get it. They do some scary things. I just don't need you having a platform. If you genuinely are too much of a coward, if you don't have the spine as a grown man, as Piers is, to tell people the truth, then you don't deserve a platform. That's my viewpoint. You don't deserve a platform because these are people's real lives. And like I said, I lost my grandfather. And many people had this circumstance for whatever reason. People who had
they meant stop transmission of nerve signals around your heart. Got him. So what exactly do you mean the anti-vax story? Because my anti-vax story is, hey, you lied. I don't trust you. End of story. Where's the hole in that story? Please tell me where the hole is in that story. You lied. I caught you lying. And now I don't trust you. The end. Where's the hole in that story? Fallon said, guess who funded and orchestrated the Spanish flu vaccines? Fauci and Bill Gates' grandfathers. It's insane when you research that story. This guy, Fauci, has been behind every disease that he's been around for. Like, the most recent one was AIDS in the 80s, and people just seem to forget that was all him. He was exactly in the same position, but people just seem to forget about that.
Lost my grandfather. And many people had this circumstance for whatever reason. People who had a mild form of dementia, they just saw it advance very quickly after getting the vaccine. My grandfather got it because the nurses and doctors told him to, and he was dead within a year. I didn't recognize him months after getting the vaccine. So
if the only reason you're not trusting the vax is they lied, then I think that's uncritical and pedantic. So so when people lie to you, you trust them. That's your way of living life. You trust people who lie to you. But you were going to tell me the hole in the story. What's the hole in the story? I'm waiting for the hole in the story. You said there was going to be a hole in the story, and the story would have a hole. So where's the hole in the story that you said there was going to be a hole in the story?
and doctors told him to, and he was dead within a year. I didn't recognize him months after getting the vaccine. So I will always use my platform to call these cowards out.
Do you think someone messed up and gave Joe Biden the actual vaccine?
Yeah. Yes.
Well,
okay. So that was those kind of COVID liars are the most insidious, right? So Chris Cuomo now tries to play both sides of the fence, like saying somehow Joe Rogan was still wrong when he was slandering him and smearing him and telling everybody that ivermectin was horse paste.
Yeah, exactly. What I'm saying, we're not anti-vax. Like, we're anti you lying about this specific particular thing. Anti-liar. That's it.
Still wrong when he was slandering him and smearing him and telling everybody.
All right, we should be getting M169 and Zippy any second now.
That ivermectin was horse paste. That's what Chris Cuomo said, and now he's saying no, Joe Rogan still wasn't right, and I was doing the right thing. All
AZT. What's AZT? Is that the AIDS thing? Because isn't AZT in like a TV show? AZT. What show is that from? There's another thing, but like obviously Freddie Mercury was a real person, so yeah, the AIDS men's okay, yeah, yep. But trust the science, okay? If you don't trust the science, then you don't get it. All right.
And now he's saying no, Joe.
Hey, we got Liberty Twitcher in the building. Welcome to the party. Why did you do this to me? I'm not gonna be able to pronounce this shit. AZT, also known as azathothymidine or ziduvudine, is an antiretroviral medication primarily used to treat HIV and AIDS. There we go. I think I got most of that right. Welcome to the party. Good to see you.
Ivermectin was horse paste. That's what Chris Cuomo said, and now he's saying no, Joe Rogan still wasn't right, and I was doing the right thing all along. It's mind-boggling. These are so, of course, sociopathic liars like that rise to the top of the media, right? You have a handful of good people sprinkled in among a sea of psychopaths and sociopaths. Would you agree with that?
I so agree with that. It's so funny because I was saying this exact same thing, that I've just dealt with so many people in media who behave like sociopaths, and their addiction to feeling the power of telling these lies and then moving along and not being willing to admit that they were wrong. Also, you see later on in that interview where he comes out at me and talks about, you're not a reporter, suddenly, like
I saw
he's
that.
He's got the degrees, and the funny
you
part
have
is,
a degree too.
Say it.
Just a feminist, right? Right, Carl? Just messing with you. Shout out to Marjorie. Welcome to the party. So the only time I had the flu shot, I ended up with the worst flu I've ever had. So let's go to the poll. What do you do when it comes to the flu shot? Options: always, sometimes, or never. 80% of you said never, and 20% of you said sometimes. And let us also remember that the flu shot is not an inoculation. They had to change the definition of vaccine in order to call you and me anti-vaxxers, because we don't have a COVID vaccine. We have an mRNA inoculation that doesn't completely inoculate, but will slow transmission. But that's only a vaccine now because that's semantic obfuscation. Just like they didn't do gain-of-function research because they changed the definition of gain-of-function research. Senator Paul, you don't know what you're talking about, okay? You don't know what you're talking about. We were not doing any gain-of-function research. We were just taking the function and doing things that would gain to it and make it more. All right? That's not gain-of-function. Yesterday we changed it, and now it's directed evolution. What? Get the fuck out of my face.
Oh, I saw that.
He's got the degrees, and the funny
you
part
have
is,
a degree too.
Say it. Yeah, well, I have more degrees than him, but I didn't say it on his show because I'm not a jerk, right? And I was just enjoying watching him because it was like this. Clearly, I've won this debate. Whenever.
All right, so where you at then? Where you at then, bro? Where's your channel? Where's your channel? Doing it better than her. You're a man. You own land, so do your job better than her. She's fucking rich. What you doing? Fuck you.
I was just enjoying watching him because it was like this. clearly I've won this debate. Whenever you start pulling out this is how many degrees I have, the conversation's over, right? And so the nerve of these people to think and to speak down to regular people, the regular people who have good sense, who have good gut instincts and know what they're doing. Trust your gut instincts. Don't trust these people. That's what I tell people. They know nothing more than you know because they went to some college and got a meaningless degree.
Yeah, clearly they're worth something when you hear them talk.
So this idea that you need a journalism degree to do journalism or be a reporter is like saying I needed to get a comedy degree so I could do stand-up comedy. These are one of those things you don't need a degree for. Bill Gates doesn't have a degree. Okay.
Yeah.
True. Balance it back in my day, we had measles parties to build immunity, so you don't need a vaccine. I don't know if that is super ideal. I mean, I've definitely heard of chickenpox parties. I mean, I don't know. So this is certainly not medical information. I don't know that that's the best idea. But hey, if it works, it works. What does marrying money have to do at all with what she says? Again, you just sound really mad that you're not the one on Jimmy Dore's show. Good question. Good question. We are leaving that up until we get an answer.
These are one of those things you don't need a degree for. Bill Gates doesn't have a degree. Okay.
Yeah.
He offers
by the way,
journalism.
all of the richest people don't. If you actually go through like the world's richest, it's incredible how many of them don't have degrees. You know why? Because it allows them to think creatively. The longer you're in the system, the more you start thinking like the system. And if you have to think on your feet, you're a little bit more creative and you probably have better instincts because you've dealt with the world in a real capacity. You're not just learning it through a textbook.
So not even pop culture or media. So all of our movies are only okay. We're accepting here. If you're gay, that's totally cool, dude. But some of us like women. And I think we would agree that there is a place between liking women and being a simp. If you don't like women, that's totally fine. If you like sucking dick, bro, just suck your dick. Not your dick. I mean, suck whatever dick you want. I don't give a shit. But no women in pop culture or media? That sounds kind of gay.
And you probably have better instincts because you've dealt with the world in a real capacity. You're not just learning it through a textbook.
I had a good friend who went to Columbia School of Journalism, and I would always tease him. I go, there's two types of people who go to journalism school, dupes and shitty journalists. So, so here's another. Now, I'm going to play this.
No, dude. You're saying you don't want to see women anywhere in the world. That sounds gay, dude. That sounds gay. I am very happy seeing women all over the place because I like to look at women. I also think that men are smart and what am I projecting? What am I projecting? You're the one that doesn't like women. I like women. So I think that, we got not only a chat projection, but a chat projection of projection. Projection. That doesn't happen very often. Wow.
So, so here's another. Now, I'm going to play this. He was asking you why you haven't tweeted out about enough about the Israel October 7th Hamas attack, right? And so whenever someone confronts us here at the show about, they go, "Oh, you support Hamas," I say, I don't support Hamas. You know who does support Hamas? Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government, who have been giving them suitcases full of cash for the last 15 to 20 years, at least.
Boobs. End of story. If there was nothing else that women have added to pop culture, they've added boobs. I like boobs. I don't know about you. For real, I don't know about you. But there's boobs. There you go.
So why would they be doing that? We all know.
You think that because it's not just guys fucking each other all the time. But most of us are not obsessed with that. So we just want to watch whatever story is going on. You're not painting yourself into a corner, homie. I would stop while you're behind.
It's 15 to 20 years, at least. So
wait, what was he saying?
Giving them Hamas. You know who does support Hamas?
Yeah.
Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government, who have been giving them suitcases full of cash for the last 15 to 20 years, at least. So why would they be doing that? We all know why. But let me play this, and this is your response to him.
Now, to be clear, I am consistent on all matters. I do not want America involved whatsoever in anything that is happening in Israel. I don't want my dollars sent over to Israel. We should not be supporting Israel. Obviously, Thomas Massie has done
another one. Projection. Personality is important, and also boobs.
A lot of work showing how it doesn't even make economic sense.
Where's the video?
Israel in anything that is happening in Israel. I don't want my dollars sent over to Israel. We should not be supporting Israel. Obviously, Thomas Massie has done a lot of work showing how it doesn't even make economic sense that we have so much debt and yet we're sending money over to support Israel. And the biggest issue, by the way, that I have with Israel and talking about them being above reproach is the fact that they are supplying the arms to murder Christians. Okay. In Armenia, the oldest Christian country in the world, and yet nobody talks about that. For whatever reason, it seems to be the circumstance that when Jewish people die in Israel, it's wall-to-wall coverage. But when Christians die all over the world, nobody talks about it. Everyone wants to correlate everything to World War II. Everyone wants to talk about Adolf Hitler, and rightfully so, he was a horrific person. But nobody wants to talk about Henryk Yagoda, right? Nobody wants to talk about the Bolsheviks. Nobody wants to talk about the Christian Holocaust. I am tired of the media, exhausted of the media, not speaking about what is happening to Christians all around the world. And it is especially horrific while at the exact same time.
She's right, guys. As an atheist, I'm telling you, she's God right. And y'all Christians are losing. Margie said, my friend received shingles vaccine 4 months ago, and now her immune system is attacking itself. Her hands and feet are swelling, and fluid is building up on her lungs. Good news is, so far, no shingles. Well, that's good. That's good. I mean, it's oof. Shout out to King Nirvana. Thank you for hanging out, and thank you for the prenup. Everybody hit the like button. Thank you so much. You guys are up on the likes. I very, very much appreciate that. You have a good night, brother.
About what is happening to Christians all around the world. And it is especially horrific while at the exact same time that it is happening, the slaughter of Christians in Armenia, the arms being supplied by Israel, that the media turns the other way and says, oh, okay, but what about Israel? What about what's happening in Israel? So you know what I'm asking for? Actual equality, okay? Because it seems like this is like a special category, the special relationship that we have. I'm a Christian first, okay? And so my concerns are...
See, I think that shit's sus. That shit's sus. When you are going to put anything above, I mean, unless it's going to be family, whenever I'm a Christian, or because this is the same thing that everybody fucking jumped down Ben Shapiro's throat for. It's like, well, I'm a Jew first, and I'm for Israel, and when you're saying you're a Christian first, so what happens when the Muslims take over Christianity and it's now Islamists and secularists? Are you no longer for America? I'm just saying, it's coming. It's a coming
relationship that we have. I'm a Christian first, okay? And so my concerns are going to be with what's happening to Christians all around the world, because it is us. We are the #1 most persecuted religion in the world. And all Christians watching this need to realize the time is now to start speaking up, because we have been silenced about the things that are happening to us for a very long time. And the media is very clearly not our friend. When there is wall-to-wall coverage of Christians being killed in Armenia, Christians being killed in Nigeria, and the treatment of Christians in America and all across the globe today, then you ask me if I will use my platform and I will use my voice to speak about what's happening in Israel.
It's almost like believing in things that are unfalsifiable and can't be proven leads to violent conflict always. End dogma.
You ask me if I will use my platform and I will use my voice to speak about what's happening in Israel. How about that?
So why do you hate Jews?
Not clickbait. Anybody who thought this was clickbait he said it. He said the thing. It's not clickbait.
How about that?
So why do you hate Jews? So
it's just funny because this is how the media actually behaves. You say something sensible, and then it's just, well, you hate black people. Well, you hate Jews.
Just because you worship the best Jew who ever lived.
So let me ask you two questions there about that. Tell me what is Yagoda, and what happened with the Bolsheviks and the Christians?
Oh, you just casually killed
genocide
10 million Christians. It's incredible. People think that the greatest mass murderer was Adolf Hitler. And no, actually, if you want to talk about genocide, the fact that people in America don't know about what the Bolsheviks did to Christians, where did the idea of a concentration camp come from? the Bolsheviks. The reason why we're not allowed to learn about these people, we don't talk about Henry Kagoda, is because he's a Jew, right? And so it conflicts with the narrative of Jewish people always being the victim in every single circumstance. So we're willing to push away Christian history. We don't talk about Christian history whatsoever because they have this bizarre focus, our classrooms, on training us to have this bizarre allegiance to Israel. And so to suit us, I feel that we are heavily propagandized in the classroom.
What did he do to Alex Jones? Come to think what you will of Jimmy. I hate him for a while after what he did to Alex Jones. Dude's actually pretty funny. League is more than Tim Pool. Well, Tim Pool's not a comedian. Jimmy Dore is a legit stand-up comedian. So I don't really know what. But what did he do to Alex Jones? I don't know about that.
To Israel. And so to suit us, I feel that we are heavily propagandized in the classroom. And the reason why I feel that way is because we spend years talking about the Holocaust, only for me to learn when I'm out of school about a bigger Holocaust that took place at the exact same time. We were locking arms with Stalin. I mean, you read Alexander Solzhenitsyn talking about the gulags and who built those gulag systems, who created those gulag systems. The majority of them, he eventually wrote a book, were Jewish men. And of course, this has not become collective guilt. Doesn't mean all Jews are Bolsheviks and think this way. But the fact that I'm denied the right to talk about my history while you demand I talk about yours and you demand that I worship Israel doesn't fly with me. I'm just sick and tired of the subjugated Christian. I'm sick and tired of the tail in between your leg Christian that is like Israel first, and then I'll get to the New Testament. You know, it doesn't make any sense to me. I'm uncomfortable with it. And that was probably the first time in that entire interview that
Nick, is it just me and you that have just completely tuned this whole fucking thing out?
Piers shut up because he knows I'm right. It's utterly ridiculous to come to a Christian and say, have you used your platform to talk about Israel? Do you think that he would go to a Jewish person and say, have you used your platform to talk about Armenia? And if the answer is no, then why not?
She's actually right, dude. She's actually right. So Christians are the largest religion on the planet, but Islam is fast rising. And in other parts of the world, they are doing the damn thing. And, you know, not in a way that I would support, but I'm saying they think that they're supposed to spread Islam by the sword. And they are. That is why the Islamists will beat the Christians, and it will be up to the it'll be up to secular societies to fight back the dogma of Islamists. I mean, bookmark this video. In 20 years, you can be like, God damn it, that short Indian dude was right. He had great hair, but he was right too. Hey, what did I called it? Called it. Called it. What's good, Zippy? What is good? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yep. But man, studies right on that one. Spit on Alex Jones. I forgot about that. Yeah, I did not know about that. I did not know. Not happy. But you know, I mean, lefty's gonna lefty. Dunebug says Christians have nukes. Fair, but I don't think that's gonna come. I don't think the nations that are Christian that have the nukes are going to be strong. What am I trying to say? Strongly Christian enough. Does that make sense? Like, America is not, like, as much as everybody wants to say, oh, Christian nation, there is no way we're going to nuke somebody to preserve Christianity itself. That's not an American thing. That's not going to happen. Whereas very many other cultures who also have nukes, who are Islamist countries, very much will use nukes to get rid of Jews, to get rid of Christians, and to be the only ones. I'm telling you. I ain't lying, and I'm not wrong. I am not wrong. I wish I was. I wish it could just be, you know, fighting Christianity, and then everybody discovers, just moral philosophy and learns how to be a normal person without believing in a sky daddy or whatever. I wish that was the world that we lived in. That's the country we live in for now. But stick with me, guys, because when, like I said, the atheists will have your back when you inevitably lose to the Islamists because they are way more adhesive to the words of their book. They will beat you because they don't care. They don't have any Reformation type ideas. It is what it is. The Quran is a nasty, nasty book, and they are 100% behind it. America is not willing to, follow like what Carl wants and get women out of this, that, and the other because, the Bible says this, that, and that. But that's not how America works. Guess what women can't do in Islamist countries? Anything. You are not strong enough in your faith to do the things that it will take to beat the Islamists. And that is a good thing. But when it comes to it, it's secular versus Islamism. That's it. That's it. Indeed, we all make mistakes. Qualtech said Jimmy recently had Alex on the show, and they had a laugh about it. Actually, gave me how inhumanity to watch them actually get along. Shout out to Courage. I'm not gonna be checking out your shit. I'm kind of doing my own shit, but appreciate you stopping in. Gave me hope. They actually gave me hope in humanity to rewatch them get along together. There you go. So all is good. We get mad. If they're not mad, why are you mad? Except if it's a Christian country because the founding fathers were Christians, then why did they choose to separate church and state? Because they were smart, because they were moral, because they understood that it doesn't really work that way. The Islamists have not gotten there yet.
And say, have you used your platform to talk about Armenia? And if the answer is no, then why not? It's because what has happened is that it's not an equal system. No, it's not equality. They are treated, Israel as a country is treated with special interests. And I got to say about Israel.
Yes. The laws prevent a woman, from being strong and or independent in Islamic countries. Now, you might think that's a good thing because of, the strong, independent women in America. But trust me, unless you're a sadist, you're not going to enjoy it. It's not what you think it is.
I'm just looking at the history there. I mean, this is our greatest ally, as they say. That's the program. This is our greatest ally. I mean, with allies like that, who needs enemies, right? In terms of things that they have been involved in historically, no one wants to talk about the USS Liberty. With allies like this, who needs enemies? I am tired of being involved in their crap. I'm America first. I want to apologize for it. I'm Christianity first. I want to apologize for it, and that upsets some people because I guess how dare she have the audacity? Well, guess what? I have the audacity.
Whoa. First is a singular thing. You can't be America first and Christian first. Bitch, pick. And I know you're going to pick Christian first, which is why you are all full of shit. And we need an American identity so that whether you're a Jew or you're a Muslim or a Christian or an atheist or some fucking furry or whatever the fuck it is, that you have some moral structure that isn't based in fantasy. Separating the church and state isn't in the Constitution. It just says no state church. Effectively, that is that means a separation of church and state. So when you have that, when you have no state church and you have a freedom of religion, that is effectively effectively a separation of church and state. And there you go. I was about to say Thomas Jefferson was explicit about it, but there you go. So I mean, what are we saying? It wasn't there, but the founding fathers still said it and thought it was a good idea, and it led us this far, and it's really, really great. But they didn't say it in this one particular document. Cool. So you're saying I shouldn't live my truth as a woman in an Islamic country? Wow, that's heartbreaking. Yeah, I don't think you'd enjoy that. I mean, give it a shot. Give it a shot. What's not correct?
Hey, folks.
So you're saying that there was...
Oh, I missed... sorry, Doombug. What did I miss here? Doombug says, aren't... what do you mean? MENA countries? Why don't I know what that is? MENA. I had a friend named MENA. Oh, okay. So aren't most Middle Eastern, North African countries secularizing at a rapid rate, though? Yup. Don't women do a lot better in liberal MENA countries, like the whole? I don't know what the fucking Jesus is. Pretty sure Kuwait had a female foreign minister. Also, Egypt has been reforming laws over the years for better rights for women, like several times. Yes, I'm not sure what you're getting at with that. It sounds like you know a little bit more about it than I do, but I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Carlos said if they wanted a separation of church and state, they would have said it in the Constitution, much like women voting. So they didn't say that they... Where in the Constitution does it say that women are not allowed to vote? Because I'm pretty sure there's a 19th Amendment, and that's part of the Constitution. I don't know. Crazy how that works, right?
How dare she have the audacity? Well, guess what? I have the audacity, folks.
So you're saying that there was a greater Holocaust of Christians that happened, and it was committed by the Bolsheviks, and the leader of them at the time was a Jewish guy.
Well, Henryk Yagoda, what really ran the Gulag camp system. So people should read, if you're interested, Alexander Solzhenitsyn talking about how shocking it was to watch the American president linking arms with Stalin, talking about we're putting an end to the Holocaust in World War II. And Stalin was still mass killing Christians in Russia. I mean, it's an absolute nonsense. And you got to take it back all the way. The Bolshevik Revolution happened. They assassinated the Tsar, I think, in 1880. And then by the time they actually properly took over, I think it was around 1910. And so what was going on in Russia at that time was they immediately took over. They started a gulag system, concentration camps, where they were mass drowning Christians in barges. And this information is readily available, and yet you never learn about it. And people don't want to talk about it. It makes them very uncomfortable.
Well, I didn't hear about it until I heard you talk about it.
Yeah, Henryk Yagoda, look him up. It's stunning. I mean, he must have killed alone 15 million people. And this is a person that's not even spoken about. And so that's the reason why Piers just goes, okay, yeah, no, okay, let's move on to the next point. So in my viewpoint, the Israeli government has way too much involvement with the American government. And part of that, this program, and you saw this after October 7th, Congress immediately passed that there would be we would be learning about October 7th in schools as if it was like Pearl Harbor, right? A day that will live in infamy. Why?
So do you know any Muslim women that don't live in America? I'll do you one better. I guarantee you don't know any Muslim women who live in America who would be accepted as Muslim in any Muslim country.
Why? This is not my country. That's a nonsense. And if the answer is, because it's a day that should live in infamy, why just Israel? Why just Israel? Right. Why not also what's happening in Armenia or happening in Nigeria or happening all over the world? Why not a day that will live in infamy? Russia actually just went through a terror attack.
So I completely agree. I just get, it just goes so hard left when you say, because they're Jews. It sounds like it's a lot more about just general geopolitics and where Israel is and the fact that people are fighting over the same spot and like all of that stuff. But I mean, maybe I'm just stupid. I don't know.
And Russia has a lot of Christians. I'm Christian. So if we can just start drafting over days of terror that happen on the basis of our religion, I'd like to draft what just happened in Russia. I want my kids to learn about that in school.
As much as I love TikTok, they did not have TikTok, and I'm gonna guess that has something to do with it. So Jimbo says, why would we care about Armenia if we don't trade with them or have any geopolitics advantage with Armenia? I agree with you. I agree. The idea is that I'm not talking about trading with them specifically. I'm talking about the fact that Islam as an ideology is spreading all over the world. So, I mean, I'm with you. I'm pretty damn isolationist. If we ain't getting something out of it, then leave it the fuck alone. I say we need to get the fuck, I'm not even really down with being an ally to Israel because they don't actually want to stop fighting. They just want money to be able to fight, as far as it seems to me. So again, I agree that I don't care about Armenia if we don't trade with them, and she cares because she's a Christian. It's like, oh no, my part of my tribe is getting whatever. Now, I do think it's bad for any type of genocide to occur, but if the people on either side are not looking to stop fighting, which is what my limited knowledge, that's what seems to be going on between Palestine and Israel. But I don't think that's the same thing with Armenia, and I mean we might. Dinbug says we get a lot of benefits from Israel, but I mean, at what cost? Being drained of all our money and then shoved into World War III. I mean, like I'm good. I'm good. Whatever they got, I'm good. Buckmaster said, how did you do me one better? You answered a question with a question. I'm just that good. I'm just that good.
And on the basis of our religion, I'd like to draft what just happened in Russia. I want my kids to learn about that in school.
Go ahead, Kurt.
Hey, so you said the thing about concentration camps. I thought the Cecil Rhodes, Boer War concentration camps came first. Am I wrong about that?
Pardon. Could you say the last tidbit?
The Boer War in South Africa when Cecil Rhodes, the architect of apartheid that Israel uses,
what year was that?
Like in 1889 or something, I thought.
It could have been. You might be right. I know that. I think the Gulag system was particularly evil.
Yeah.
So, but you could be right. I wouldn't
Well, if
be
you
able
read
to debate
Tragedy
you on
and
that
Hope,
point.
you read Tragedy and Hope by Kel Quigley. They have pictures of it. It looks like Auschwitz. And the Rhodes Scholarship is still available to this day. Clinton, I think Obama was one. We still have stuff in that guy's name. That guy invented that stuff. In fact, his little...
Do you mind said why World War III with who exactly? Who would topple anyone who tried to fight us in a month? Iran has nukes. Come here. I forgot about you again. Iran has nukes. So maybe, but not without ending the world, or at least the general goings on. I don't know exactly what a post-nuclear world would look like. I'm not claiming to know, but I don't think it's going to be good. I don't think it's going to be good. I mean, yeah, we're already kind of there, but I don't want to further escalate. I'm happy to stay away from nukes. I mean, maybe that's more propaganda. Maybe that's more propaganda that we don't want to be fighting because somebody's got nukes. I don't know. I'm just saying. Iran doesn't have nukes. I mean, am I wrong about that? Iran doesn't have nukes? Iran is not known currently possession of weapons of mass destruction. Okay, guess I'm wrong with that. But who is it? So who are we talking about then? We've got Saudi Arabia. Who else is over there? I don't know. But like, I mean, again, unless we're saying that a World War III is not going to involve nukes, then whether one particular country, like, fine, okay, Iran doesn't have nukes, but are we saying that that's not on the table? Am I completely wrong about that? Because if not, great. Then let's get the fuck out of giving money to that. I'm just going on what I heard. Google said. So let's try. What is the nuclear weaponry situation with Iran currently? As of January 12th, this week. Oh, come on. Does somebody have? I guess I could. Hold on. I'm gonna try and sign in on a different email. Let's see. All right. Okay, what where the fuck am I? Okay. What is the current nuclear weapon situation with Iran? Wait, what are you asking? I said no. I didn't answer a question with a question. I said no, and then I added to that, and I said I bet nobody knows a Muslim woman who would be accepted as a Muslim woman in an Islamic country. How is that a question? No is not a question, sir. Listen better. Okay, so as of July 2024, Iran's nuclear situation remains highly contentious and complex. Iran is close to becoming a nuclear threshold state, which means it possesses the capability to produce nuclear weapons quickly if it chooses to do so. Estimates suggest that Iran could produce enough fissile material for nuclear weapons within 2 weeks, Dunebug. 2 weeks. Where are we? According to the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists and the War on Rocks. Iran has significantly expanded its nuclear program since the U.S. withdrew from the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action in 2018. This includes enriching uranium up to 60%, just below weapons grade, and developing advanced centrifuges. The country has also reduced the International Atomic Energy access to its nuclear facilities, complicating international monitoring efforts, meaning we don't fucking know. Despite these advancements, Iran has not undertaken the key activities necessary to produce a nuclear weapon and continues to use its nuclear program as leverage in international negotiations. Iranian officials assert that they do not currently intend to develop nuclear weapons, but emphasize that this stance could change if they perceive a significant threat to their national security, like American troops in Israel. Efforts revive the JCPOA or negotiate a new agreement have stalled, with Iran indicating it may wait until after the election to engage in more comprehensive negotiations. Meanwhile, the U.S. and its allies face a critical window to address Iran's nuclear capabilities and prevent further escalation. So I was wrong. I was so horribly wrong. They don't have nukes, but they can in 2 weeks. So my bad. I'm so dumb. Yeah, are we on the same page now? Because sounds like you're taking something the wrong way.
Looks like Auschwitz, and the Rhodes Scholarship is still available to this day. Clinton, I think Obama was one. We still have stuff in that guy's name. That guy invented that stuff. In fact,
okay, but we just showed that in 2 weeks, amongst our only enemies in the Middle East are Iran and Syria, and Hamas, and they could have nukes within 2 weeks. So again, what is your point? What is your bottom line here? How am I wrong about what? Because they don't have nukes now, but they could have nukes in 2 weeks. What does that change about the conversation? Absolutely nothing. You're just grasping at straws, and every angle you go down, you get shut down. Maybe, is it possible, Dunebug? Is it possible that you're not correct about this? That even if I have some of the facts, maybe not perfect, which I never claim that foreign politics is my strong suit. But yeah, I got some facts here and there wrong. Is it possible that the bottom line that I'm saying that we don't want to get into a world war is a valid position or no?
I think Obama was one. We still have stuff in that guy's name. That guy invented that stuff. In fact, his little cadre with Wall Street invented the Bolsheviks and the Nazis, which is kind of interesting.
And it's crazy because so many of those sick, demented communists came over to America after. They were like, this is the why Alexander Solzhenitsyn writes. You had the trials. You had the Nuremberg trials at the end of Nazi Germany. Where were the trials for the Bolsheviks?
Well,
where were the trials for Henryk Yagoda, who was actually ended up being killed because they always end up eating their own? But where were all of these trials for the people that were mass murdering Christians? They killed about 10,000 priests. I mean, locking down churches. And people tell me to go support Zelensky as he's shutting down churches. You want me to support this Bolshevik? I'm not doing it. And
guys, if you would like to keep the party raging, we have just passed the 2-hour mark. If you'd like to keep the party raging, you know how to do it.
So they can't believe it. What the propaganda tells you, he's a good guy. Oh yeah, totally good guy. To suspend elections, shut down churches. That really does sound like we're defending democracy all over the world. Let's get this guy some more money. Yeah, I'd like a pass on that.
Why are you so homophobic? Zelensky's, he's just a nice guy. He likes to dance around in leather hot pants.
Latex.
That's it, latex. Piers Morgan, he challenged you to $100,000. Well, let's play it and we'll get your reaction.
Brigitte Macron, as you know, has a libel trial against Natasha Ray, who made the claims that the French First Lady was born a man called Jean-Michel Trogneux.
So I saw you did a whole thing on Macron's wife was born a man. It's pretty compelling, and it was based on some real reporting. And now he's going to challenge you on that. So that's what this is. So I should have set it up a little better.
It's the least crazy part of their relationship, by the way. That's the least. That's like it helps the story.
That is. Here we go. Let's watch.
Brigitte Macron, as you know, has a libel trial against Natasha Ray, who made the claims that the French First Lady was born a man called Jean-Michel Trogneux. It's due to take place imminently, and we will get to the bottom of this. And I'll bet you, and why don't we have like £100,000 bet that it establishes beyond any doubt to a charity of your choice and mine, $100,000, make it dollars, right now, that it is established.
Which one would be more? I think the pound is the pound is higher than the dollar right now, right?
It's beyond any doubt that she was born a woman. Do you accept that bet?
So, ladies and gentlemen,
So go ahead and respond. Do you accept that bet?
She's a woman.
More than that. Yeah, I've put more money on it because I reached out to the journalist, Xavier Poussard, and Piers is just lying. The defamation trial is not against the people who published the documents. Xavier Poussard published it, a 6-part.
Why are you dancing around? There's a lot going on. I don't remember what happened. If you have something to say, then say it. Or if you want to wait till the after party, do that. But what is this? I'm paying attention to a lot of shit. I guarantee you would not be able to run this show as well as I do. So shut the fuck up. Shout out to Guam Tech for the $5 Venmo. And of course, that comes with a treat for Morty. Thank you. So very, very much, sir. I and Morty very much appreciate it.
Trial is not against the people who published the documents. Xavier Poussard published it, a 6-part series, and they never sued.
I know, but I don't remember. So again, if you said, I have the chats right here. You asked, do you know any Muslim women that don't live in America? I said no, and so no is the answer to your question. No, I don't know any Muslim women that don't live in America. And I would say take it even further that you don't know any Muslim women who do live in America who would be accepted as Muslim women in other countries. What about that did not answer your question? And what about that is answering a question with a question? That is your claim. So how did you want better there? You're also wrong. Challenge equally. You don't know. Okay, fine. Then show me that I'm wrong. Show me that I'm wrong. Show me that I'm wrong. I'm not going to stop a show to go back and watch part of the show. That's not how this works. If you got something to say, say it.
For defamation, they got Natasha Ray, one of the investigators who helped him gather the information, on a technicality for libel. A technicality in the form that after everything was published, she did an interview. And she misspoke, really, and said, I would say that these documents are falsified pertaining to Jean-Michel Trogneux's birth certificate. And so they're going after this woman for something that she said on YouTube, not regarding the fact, which it is a fact, that Emmanuel Macron is married to a man. Transition. I'm all in on this. You read through these documents and you cannot. That's why Piers says he didn't even read them, because you cannot in good conscience read these documents, and he doesn't even have the stomach to tell that kind of a lie. So instead he has to say, the theory is insane. It's too crazy for me to even read it. Read the documents. They spent 3 years working on this. It is insane. I mean, they have pictures down to the year where Brigitte got the Adam's apple surgery and just wore a scarf right around here for like 8 months straight as a teacher. And like you said, this would be the best part of the relationship, because the truth is that Emmanuel Macron, at best case scenario, was statutorily raped by Brigitte, who was 39 years old at the time that he was 14, and they fell in love.
And actually, she was 49, by the way. She was like way older than that.
But actually, she was 49. Yeah. But even in the good version, she's 39. But actually, she's 10 years older. I mean, listen, I don't tell you, the French people know this. They've been on fire for me, and they just feel like they are being so remarkably gaslit. Brigitte is a man with a lot of power, by the way. Like Emmanuel Macron, when he's asked a question, turns to Brigitte, and
she really wears the pants.
What's the answer here? Because Brigitte is allegedly the person that's running and is the main power player over there.
Why do you hate the French?
Come on, because they smell.
Why doesn't it stop being funny?
Come on.
Why are you transphobic?
So
what you're saying is,
the person who actually did, I got this from your video, by the way, the person who actually did that report, that did that 6-part, 3-year investigation to prove that Macron's wife is a male. Why didn't they go after him? Why aren't they suing that person? And here's what he said. This is what I got. Because by pursuing me, they would allow me to speed up my proceedings against them before the administrative court. I am taking legal action against the French administrations, which wrongfully refused to issue me documents, including identity photos, on the case, in particular, photos of Jean-Michel Trogneux as a young man. So that's but Xavier Poussard, the guy who so you actually talked to him and he gave you this statement, right?
Yeah, I've been speaking with him, and he was just like, basically they're going after Natasha because then it allows people like Piers to say the journalists are being sued for defamation. And they know that when you're dealing with an overseas report, different language, that's just not going to translate. When I was like, listen, I'm your translator because I am all in on this story. It's the most insane thing I've ever seen. It's a bizarre cover up. And so he gave me all of the information plus the filings and showed me that this woman is not being sued for defamation for saying that Brigitte Macron is a man. And that is what Piers wanted his audience to think. So I am throwing down the gauntlet for him to clarify that statement. I've told him to make 3 basic statements, and he ain't going to do it. I'll tell you that much.
He basically owes you $100,000.
No, he's going to owe me $150,000 after the episode I dropped today, because I was like, now I'm upping the ante because I know you lied about the defamation.
Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? This has nothing to do with being tough. Okay? I said a thing. If you can't articulate that thing, then get over it. We're not stopping a show to go back. I'm not taking time out of my day to go watch my own material for you. If you have something to say, then say it. It has nothing to do with being tough. If you want to clip it and send it, then clip it and send it. Do what you gotta do. There's nothing to do with being tough. Just say it. I don't understand what the problem is with, oh, you said this and I meant that. Oh, my bad. I didn't mean that. I thought you were saying this. I don't understand why that's so hard for you.
No, he's going to owe me 150 grand after the episode I dropped today, because I was like, now I'm upping the ante because I know you lied about the defamation claim. So I want you to say on your program what Natasha Ray is being sued for. What was a defamatory statement? Because it was not that Brigitte Macron is a man. That's a truthful statement. So it cannot rise to defamation.
Oh, so that's the old switcheroo. They're saying ivermectin's used for horses. Well, it's also used for humans. Well, we don't tell you that part. He's just telling you that they're being sued for defamation. So that's that means he's implying that it's over the defamation that she's a male, and that's not what she's being sued for.
That is correct.
Do you remember Mary Kay Letourneau with her student?
Yes.
So imagine if instead of her going to prison, they ruled France. What happened? Do you know?
And I also imagine if Mary Kay Letourneau was born a dude. I don't know.
What family is Brigitte from? Like, because I saw all kinds of wild. They're like, oh, he's a Rothschild, but is that even true? Is that just like
no? Those rumors, I looked into those, and I could not confirm that. They're saying that about Emmanuel Macron, like that, because he also has a weird background where he was raised by his grandmother. By the way, can we just get some leaders of a country who don't have like shady backgrounds? You know what I mean? Like Barack Obama's mother died young. Bill Clinton's mother died in a car accident. Hillary Clinton was adopted.
No, people who have nice families don't want to go into politics.
It's just like, can we just get a normal 2-parent household from like, Michigan? I don't know.
No, you
cannot.
What?
He was raised by his grandmother, and people think that that's super shady, but that's because now the entire all of France has now gotten in on investigating them, and they are everyone is just jumping in on it, and they're getting so much information it's hard to sort through. But I stand by Xavier Poussard's reporting, that initial 6-part series which determined that Brigitte Macron just did not exist for 30 years and Jean-Michel did. And now Jean-Michel, who she alleges is her brother, admits it's her brother, just doesn't exist. So she won't just go on a walk with him to debunk the story. No, they're just gonna make it seem like that would be too hard. Hey, here's my brother. That's actually not me. Because it is you. You're a man.
Why do you hate single moms? So this would be the easiest thing to debunk, as you just pointed out. All she has to do is appear side by side with her brother.
Yep, that's it. That's all it would take, and she won't do it. It's that simple.
Because she can't do it.
Side by side with your brother. They're alleging that you became, you were Jean-Michel and you became him. All you got to do is go for a walk in front of reporters and say, yeah, do you see that crazy American girl, Candace? This is my brother. Conspiracy theories are dangerous, yada, yada. They won't do it. They won't do it. It's been going on for years now, okay? It's been going on for years, and they simply will not do it.
Facts, Carl. Donald Trump is as normal as it gets. This is what they don't understand. This is what they don't understand. This is spot on, Carl.
I used to think you were a crazy right-winger, just like I'm sure a lot of people thought I was a crazy left-winger. Do you feel like those terms don't? I feel like those terms don't really mean anything anymore, because all the people who claim to be lefties, they've abandoned all their left-wing. They're not for my body, my choice anymore, because that was proven during COVID. It's not your choice; it's the government's choice.
Right, Dunebug?
They're not anti-war. They're very pro-Ukraine war. They're very what's the other thing? So there's freedom of speech. They're not for freedom of speech. They're for censorship. So that's the hallmark of authoritarianism and dictators. And so what do you make of the left wing becoming not anymore? And do you think those terms even mean anything?
I don't think the terms mean anything anymore. I think we are going through a very clarifying moment. And I think we're seeing that on the right, where we're recognizing these neocons are behaving like leftists. Do you believe in speech? Do you not believe in speech? And I think at the end of the day, we shouldn't think in terms, it's almost too myopic to think in terms of left and right and Republican and Democrat. And I think that the elites love that. And going back to that, they love it.
They do. They can just feed you a dogma. If that one doesn't work, they give you a different dogma, and you have this idea in your head, and you can question all you want, but you assume that no matter what, it is absolutely correct, whether it's a man in the sky or the idea that a man can transform into a female, whatever idea you have that is dogmatic, that is axiomatic, question it. Word up. All right, well, thank you for stopping by. You have a good one.
Divide. They love us yelling at each other. And I think the truth is that those of us who are willing to pursue truth, we're in the same party. Those of us who believe in what it means to be an American, we believe in free speech, we believe in debate, we believe in the right to be wrong. I mean, these are things that are essential to fight for. So if that means I'm linking arms with someone who's traditionally a Democrat or a leftist, I don't care. Do you care about truth? Do we recognize that this country is in a full decline right now? And do we recognize that we hardly even have national security and national sovereignty, anymore? It's like we've just become a globalist super nation. And I think that is making allies, some strange bedfellows, as one would say, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing that we're breaking outside of these lines.
I mean, when you see people like, I try to tell people that Tucker Carlson did get fired for lying, right? He got in trouble when he started telling the truth about Syria, Ukraine, Big Pharma, COVID. That was the last straw when he told the truth about Big Pharma. And people don't realize this. They think that he got in trouble for lying about something. And now you see people like you and Julian Assange and Tucker Carlson and me. We're on the same page, which is very bizarre to me.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's great. And I think that what we're seeing is that people are following those people. So the corporate system is dying. People have lost faith, and they see what happens. When you get rid of somebody like Tucker and you try to convince us that he's a bad guy, it's just not going to work. I'm happy he's independent. I'm happy he's free. This is the best version of Tucker.
I think the same about Candace. I think that she, had a little bit of a chip on her shoulder at Daily Wire. I think that, she's that kind of person where she's going to find a chip on her shoulder no matter what. But I feel like since she's kind of left, I haven't watched too much of what she's done, but it feels like that same lightness that Tucker has since he's left Fox. And not to say that Fox and Daily Wire are necessarily the same thing, not to say they're not, but it definitely seems like the whole big company thing always ends bad when it comes to messages and narratives and propaganda and all that stuff. It just seems like once you get to a certain size, there's eventually going to be something that, we can't, be honest about that. And I don't know, maybe that's just maybe that's not the case, but it sure as shit seems to be.
I'm happy I'm independent. I'm happy that I'm free. I wake up every day and I'm excited and we're having fun because we're able to tackle the stories that we want to tackle without having to think about, I guess, corporate narratives, so to speak. So everything's happening for a reason. I believe God has his hand on us right now. And that in the end, I'm extremely optimistic. I do believe we're going to win. I think we're not even at the beginning. We're sort of at the middle of an awakening.
Why do you hate Jews and why? What's
he said it twice? Yes.
The big controversy over saying Christ is king. I don't understand. I don't get that.
That was made up out of thin air by Andrew Klavan. No one's ever heard the controversy over Christ is king.
Yeah, atheists here don't get it.
And the day I left, I guess he just was sort of like, well, we need to maybe make it seem like she's a bad person. Remember that time she said Christ is king last November? Yeah, that's the narrative. Let's get this girl out of here. Yeah, did you see this tweet she sent last November? And I love it because he was really selling it with his chest. He was like, when you spit that phrase at a Jew, I'm like, what are you talking about? Christ, what for Jew? Secondly, he is king. I mean, what do you want me to tell you?
And shalom.
So yeah, he tried to sell it. And he really brought it to the market, and I don't think the market bought it. And it was just a little petty way to kind of throw some dirt on me on my way out. But I don't care. I could care less. I genuinely wish the guy well.
Okay.
The weird tricks are more creepy, I think.
Well, listen. Did your video about Macron's wife, did it get demonetized?
No. So we strangely got kicked out of the chat, which has never happened. It just froze, and we just kind of had to basically not premiere it live, and then we had to go re-upload it and then just publish it, which was very strange. But I blame Rabbi Shmuley and Emmanuel Macron. I think they're working together, actually.
He was good friends with Michael.
All right. I think that's about the end right there. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out. Again, nothing super, super deep to take away from this one. Just a really kind of interesting conversation and meeting in the minds of people who are living very different lives and see things from very different perspectives, yet somehow can, when it comes to the big stuff, tend to agree. And I'm sure, there's so very many things that they disagree on. But at the end of the day, there's things that any self-respecting American should be behind, and capitalism, meritocracy, and just the way that society has been running for so long, so successfully. Why would we want to change that? So let's give a big shout out to the sponsors of the stream. We had our boy Carl, we had our boy Guam Tech, and we had the Funk Master General coming in with the gifted memberships. Look at his head popping up. All right. I'll give you a freebie. There you go. And yes, Carl says we disagree on a lot, but Trump 2024. Thank you so very, very much for hanging out with me, guys. Once again, if you are a member, make sure you head over to the after party. We are headed there right now. I really do appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Shout out to Dunebug over on Kick. And again, guys, I really do appreciate when we can come here and challenge each other and do do what no one else is willing to do and actually get into the weeds of what the fuck are you talking about. You got to say what you got to say and back it up. And if you don't, then somebody's going to call you out. And we can call each other out and still have that respect. So I very, very, very much appreciate you guys. And again, if you are a member, head over to the after party. I see it as empty right now. I'll go to bed right now. But thank you so very, very much for hanging out. Morty really appreciates it. Once again, I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, I am out of here. Peace.